LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by FidelityInvestments.com. Now that we're in the second year of President Donald Trump's second term, our team of analysts at Bloomberg Intelligence is taking stock of how some of the administration's pushback against DEI is changing the business landscape. Bloomberg Intelligence senior ESG analyst Rob Duboff says almost half of U.S. states have taken the lead from the White House and attempted legislation to curb DEI.
Out of the states that proposed it, you've seen 18 have actually been signed into law. They've really designed to, that includes whether it's for admissions, that comes to hiring and promotions for faculty. You know, you've really seen that's probably the most leverage where you've seen at the state level. You've also seen a couple of state attorney generals have gone the court route. Attorneys general from Missouri, Florida, and Texas have all launched legal action against companies over issues related to diversity. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves kin. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. We're going to cover many a topic. In fact, consider this 3-hour radio program today a flight on an airline. We are ascending right now. We are taking off because the show is just starting. Make sure you fasten your seatbelts, please. And the no smoking sign is lit up. We may hit a little bit of turbulence around hour 2, but we will safely land at our destination at about 11:56 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we're going to be 3 hours away when we land. Let's say, what's a 3-hour flight? Let's say Vegas. Maybe L.A., I think, is a 3-hour flight. It's going to be a nonstop flight over some mountains and over the plains. We may catch a little bit of weather. Put together a list of topics today that I think are necessary. They are important. They're timely, and I hope that they help demystify and decipher what is happening. So the first thing is, and we're going to talk about the conflict between Alderman Mark Chambers and Alderwoman Jocasta Zamarripa, because that goes a little bit deeper than what you may have read on local news. I have a personal and professional history with Jocasta. The previous incarnation of 101.7 Resistance Radio, she had a radio show there at that radio station, and so did I. So this 101.7 FM, and you can listen to us on the FM dial. I don't know why so many people come up to me and say, oh, Sherwin, I can only download the podcast or listen online. And you can listen on the radio, too. So the frequency of 101.7 FM had previous ownership before Good Karma Brands, and our radio station under the previous ownership was located on Brady Street. So Jocasta and I worked together, and we were colleagues at the Brady Street incarnation of 101.7. So I got to know her there. In fact, I've raised money for her and helped her re-election to the Wisconsin State Assembly. This goes back to, I think 2018, because we used to, she's changed. We admired her stance on expanding educational options for children in the city of Milwaukee. So we raised some money for her, and we supported her. And I had a fairly decent relationship with her. But then our falling out came when she showed her true colors, and what you may have read about the story of the conflict between her and Alderman Mark Chambers. It's unfortunate the way that the media has discussed it, but just know the members of legislative bodies argue all the time at every level of government. There are county board supervisors that storm in each other's offices and yell and scream. The Democrats and the Republicans, and sometimes it's a Republican versus a Republican, in the Wisconsin State Senate, in the Assembly. And I don't think you want to know how some of the conversations go between members of Congress. You think that Mike Johnson and how religious and evangelical he is, you think he doesn't cuss Hakeem Jeffries out? And I know that Hakeem Jeffries returns the favor. But here is where the decorum usually exists. Those legislators who are very passionate about their constituents and about their legislation, they keep the arguments between one another. It's very rare that the media gets a taste of the discord that exists amongst legislators, because that's a part of it. Now, when it comes to the Milwaukee Common Council, there is a widely understood theme that I try my very best to dismiss. If you, a city of Milwaukee resident, a constituent of some alder person, you're just living your life. You're going to work, you're going to the store, you're just picking up the kids, taking care of your responsibilities, and you're just living your life. And in the course of you living your life, and let me go ahead and assume that you are an active voter. Or you may not follow stuff every single day. You're not looking up what's happening at different levels of government, but you know when there's an election, which are held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. So there you go. You'll never forget another election. But if you, throughout the course of your day, don't see either major substantial changes from one day to the next or 1 week to the next, or if you just don't see your alder person, we assume they're not doing anything. We have to dismiss that because a lot of the work that they are doing could be in other parts of the community. They could be out of town promoting the city of Milwaukee or trying to bring jobs and opportunities back here. Or they're at City Hall, which I'll be honest, most people really don't visit. And so I think our alders always fight against this perception that the public thinks they don't do anything. A lot of times the public does not even know what an alder person does. I will bet you dollars to donuts. If you grab 10 random people just in the city of Milwaukee and ask them specifically what an alder person does, maybe 2 or 3 of them would actually be able to tell you. So it's very easy for a resident to think, oh, my alder person doesn't do anything. Well, yeah, you don't know what they do. So based on your ignorance, well, of course they don't do anything. And so when there is legislation that one alder person creates or has an idea for, and it gets taken, stolen, somebody else's idea now, gets stolen, and then promoted as their own, well, it's the worst kind of plagiarism. And the reason why there is so much emotion in something like that, there's a couple of reasons. Because if you're a Milwaukee alder person, you know the city is in trouble. You know we need a bunch of fixing and we need resources and we need to cut down on crime. We got to do something about the police. You know that it's like a perpetual cycle of things that need to get remedied. You know that. And there's still the perception that our alder persons aren't doing anything. So when they create a piece of legislation and they're working with the Legislative Reference Bureau to make sure this legislation is stout, to make sure that none of their colleagues have similar legislation, and somebody steals it from you, that's very infuriating. But there's also a theme that exists in this council that I'm not sure if people are aware of, and now is the time to talk about it. This council heavily favors, now remember, there are 8 African Americans on a 15-person body. For the first time in Milwaukee's history, we have a majority African American common council. In my days, many, many years ago, better than 20 years ago when I was working in politics, we dreamed of the day where African Americans could hold a majority vote because a lot of the need in the city of Milwaukee is more resources poured on the north side. If you don't believe me, take a drive around. You'll recognize that very quickly. And at the time we thought, and maybe it was elementary thinking, that if we just had a majority of African American members on the council, they all would vote to better resource where the north side was lacking. Well, we have that majority. The problem is the Common Council president is Puerto Rican, and he has a disproportionate amount of control over the legislative agenda, but then also who gets what committee assignments. Your committee assignment and your chairmanship or your chairwomanship is a tremendous amount of power. So just imagine this. You have alderpersons who recently got a raise. They're making $83,000, $84,000 a year, which, you know, that's not small potatoes. Now, it also is a lot of work if you do the job right. But if you get specific assignments on committees, it's almost like printing money because it's very easy to get campaign donations because the committee you sit on can determine a disproportionate amount of power on this 15-person body. And because there are some members of the council who never really got good committee assignments and never knew what it was like to have a tremendous amount of power over something like licensing. Just think for a moment, How many establishments in the city of Milwaukee need a license? A food license, a beverage license, a tavern license, a cabaret license, a Class A license, or Class B license. Well, hell, every Friday I have the Milwaukee Experience where I go through a whole litany, a laundry list of different bars and lounges and restaurants. All of them need to be licensed. All of the owners of all of these establishments, and there's thousands of them in the city, every year, they have to go to the license committee, and they hope that they get their license approved or renewed, because that allows this bar owner, this restaurant owner, to continue their livelihood. Now, just think for a moment practically. If you have a license hearing that is coming up and you're feeling a little bit nervous about your license renewal, remember, if your license doesn't get renewed for liquor license, your Class A license, or your Class B tavern license, or your Class C cabaret license, if it doesn't get renewed, you're out of business. You can't open, you can't operate, and you have to lay off all of your employees. So it is nothing, and it's legal. Before you all start to thinking it's illegal, it is legal to write a campaign donation to someone who is an elected official. Now, you can't say I'm giving you this donation so you show me favoritism when my license hearing comes up. That's why you have to space out the donation. But if you know that your license hearing is every April Fool's Day, every single year, it's going to be on April 1, well, then nothing is stopping you from giving a donation in October or November, and maybe a donation for Christmas in December. Do you understand where I'm going? So if you're on this license committee, it's 5 people, you have the ability to approve someone's livelihood. And recently, Jose Perez was in hot water for something else because he voted to approve a business license or a tavern license or some kind of a lounge license for one of his tenants that rents for him. And we know that's a conflict of interest, right? So licensing is very, very powerful. And if you've never been on the licensing committee before, you're African American, let's say, and you have a tremendous amount of power. You can determine what bars close, what bars open, what bars get suspended. You see what I mean? It's a lot of power. And for some of these folks on the Common Council, that is the most powerful they have ever been and will ever be. I'm saying all that to say this. With 8 African American members on that Common Council, something that we wished for many, many years ago, majority black council, their loyalties can be manipulated if the council president puts a black Common Council member on a choice committee. They will vote in favor of the Common Council president's agenda because the Common Council president put them on a committee that gives them a disproportionate amount of power. I will tell you this, the theme of this Common Council has been overwhelmingly supportive of the Hispanic community, the legislative agenda that they have. When they go to Madison, they try and lobby lawmakers in the state capitol to try and give more opportunity and more resources to Milwaukee. It is in favor of the Hispanic community, not in favor of the black community. And it's very disappointing because sometimes Puerto Ricans forget who they are. I grew up with a Puerto Rican kid. Father was from the island. My best friend from when we were in 4th grade until, life splits you when you get into your 20s and your 30s. Best friend. And my Puerto Rican friend was very white passing. He had blonde hair, green eyes, fair skin. But his Puerto Rican father would tell him, and I would hear him say, may his father rest in peace, don't you forget, we're Puerto Rican. We're black too. We may not look it, but don't you ever forget it. So I grew up with a Puerto Rican kid whose father reminded him of his heritage, not just from the island of Puerto Rico, but who Puerto Ricans actually are. Joe Cass is Puerto Rican, and so is Jose Perez, but for some reason the agenda is decidedly Hispanic, even though the city of Milwaukee is only a portion Hispanic, but also they favor the white alders as well. And so the dynamic that exists on this council is one that it's complicated. It's disrespectful at times, but it's also as racially split and as segregated as the city itself. I'm going to give you this example, then I got to take a break. But there's many things I want you all to know because y'all live in this city. Your tax dollars pay for this. Your increased sales taxes that went into effect last year on January 1 is funding all of this. So you need to know. You need to be an informed voter. And I said one thing a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago. I'll say it again today. If you listen to this program, you are going to know politics. You are going to know how it works. That is what I am here for, because I cannot have our people in battleground state Wisconsin being ignorant to what politics is and how it actually works. Okay? All right. Cavalier Johnson, he's the current mayor of the city of Milwaukee. Every 4 years, members of the council vote on who the common council president is going to be. They wrangle, they lobby, they vie for votes. Whoever gets the majority of the vote becomes a common council president. Tremendously powerful position. You get a better office, you get more salary, and you get to put people on committees. Committees that they may want to be on, or committees you may want to stick them on as punishment. Tremendous amount of power. You are the legislative agenda of the city of Milwaukee if you're the common council president, okay? Malele Coggs, who I would argue is one of the most centered, focused, and rest in peace to her long-term assistant who recently passed away, Akua Danzler. I've worked with Akua. I can't tell you how many times. Always a wonderful human being. Tremendous service to our community. She will be greatly missed. Malele would arguably be one of the most consistent members of that council. Cavalier Johnson was facing off against her for the common council presidency. Malele had been there longer. She had accomplished more. Let me just go ahead and say this. The only African-American that voted for Cavalier Johnson to be common council president when he was in this battle against Malele Coggs was Cavalier Johnson. So Cavalier Johnson was voted in by the white alders because at the time they had enough of the majority to make him common council president. So that ethos, that theme in this common council has remained. Right, you got a Puerto Rican council president that's going to give a disproportionate amount of time and attention and resources and effort to the Hispanic community. Whatever, fair enough. But then next comes the white community. Then the black community comes after that. And I think that Mark Chambers might be a victim of that. Imagine a black majority on the council, but being treated like a minority. So when y'all think that elected officials, black elected officials, can fix racism, no, they can't. They're still victims of it no matter where they are. That's how racism works. I'm going to take a break, come back. We're going to get into it. I also want to talk to you guys about how people get radicalized in this country and how some 30 million men will follow Trump blindly. There's a phenomenon I want to explain. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
This Black History Month, 101.7 The Truth, opening up the mic to Milwaukee's youth, young boys and girls sharing what Black history means to them in their own words. I'll be reading and sharing your submissions with the 101.7 The Truth audience all month long. Our voices, our stories. If you know a young person with something to say, share their message on social media, tag at ToryLow_King or 101.7 The Truth. Let's amplify their stories together.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
So the legislation was banning a certain type of face covering in the city of Milwaukee. We know them as poo shiesty masks. These are these masks that cover half of your face and they cover your neck that a lot of, I'm going to say, young people wear to shield their identity when they're involved in, let's say, sinister activities. You cannot identify them. Even if we have facial recognition, they can get around facial recognition because their faces are totally covered. It's weird because I knew that during the pandemic, when people got used to wearing masks, I was like, wait a minute. What if people continue to wear masks in public to shield their identity so we can't recognize anybody, and then bingo? So Mark Chambers, in 2024, Alderman Mark Chambers represents the 2nd District. 2nd District is the north side, northwest side. In fact, the 2nd District is the aldermanic district that was vacated by Cavalier Johnson, who is now the mayor. Do you guys know Cavalier Johnson's rise to being mayor? And I want to say this objectively because I don't have any problem, any issue with Cavalier Johnson. In fact, I rather like the guy. Now, I didn't appreciate how he got to be mayor because prior to him, I saw Marvin Pratt be acting mayor, and the paths were very different. You used to have to put in a lot of time and a lot of work to ascend political ladders in this city if you are black, because the further back in time you go, the smaller the African American community was in number. And so all the positions that we as black people who were, I guess, politically motivated or politically aspirational, the positions that we wanted were occupied by white folk. Okay, and then a white person would go somewhere else, get a job in the private sector, they would retire. These opportunities would open up very, very slowly. So you had to put in a lot of time, you had to work really hard, and you had to be super, super patient. So Cavalier Johnson had run for county board and lost. Then he ran for alderman of the 2nd District when the previous alderman ran for mayor. His name was Joe Davis. Tom Barrett stepped in because Cavalier Johnson had lost his county board seat or his county board campaign. Cavalier Johnson, not to be outdone, a lot of motivation, obviously. There was another open seat on the Common Council because Joe Davis was not seeking re-election. This is back in 2016. Tom Barrett had a real successful political machine that goes back to the mid or late 1980s when Tom Barrett was in the state assembly, then the state senate, then he was in the House of Representatives for 10 years. This is where I worked for him. And then he ran for mayor in 2004. So Tom Barrett's political machine could get anybody elected. First and foremost, it got Tom Barrett elected, but anybody that Tom Barrett selected, he could get them elected too because his machine was just that powerful, and it had grown over the decades. It was almost untouchable, unless he wanted to run for governor. Tom Barrett, ran for governor, 3 times? Lost all 3 times, obviously. Tom Barrett's political machine had a tremendous amount of muscle in one city, and that city is in Milwaukee. But outside of Milwaukee, it was seen as ineffective. However, I digress. Well, Tom Barrett needed some allies on that council because there were some contentious relationships on that council, and Tom Barrett needed somebody that would be on his side, that would vote for his legislation, and that saw the agenda for the city the way Tom Barrett saw it. Now, a lot of African-American alders and conservative South Side alders, they didn't like Tom Barrett so much because Tom Barrett's agenda was very specific. Tom Barrett made a deal with Cavalier Johnson, said, Chevy, I'm going to get you elected to the council. But when I get you elected to the council, you need to vote my way. Chevy was like, say less. And that's precisely what happened. There were a number of pieces of legislation. And again, I don't fault Chevy for this. This is the game. There may have been a piece of legislation that Tom Barrett really wanted, and the council was split on it. And a lot of times Cavalier Johnson would be the deciding vote in favor of this budget or this ordinance that Tom Barrett really wanted. So Tom Barrett and the relationship he had with Cavalier Johnson grew closer and stronger because he had a political ally. Tom Barrett did, and so did Cavalier Johnson. So Tom Barrett had been trying to leave because he ran for governor I don't know how many times, and then he was looking for an ambassadorship. First, he thought he was going to be appointed to something when Obama got elected. I don't know if you guys remember this. In fact, you probably don't, so I'm here to remind you. April of 2007. We didn't even know who Barack Obama was. Remember, Barack Obama launched his campaign in February of 2007 in Springfield, Illinois. It was like this whole, I'm going to be a black Abraham Lincoln. I thought it was really cheesy. He went to Springfield, Illinois, which is the capital of Illinois. It was during February. I think it might have been on President's Day, and that's when he announced. I'm like, dude, you're cheesy. Remember, we didn't know Obama just yet. So Obama's an unknown. He's a long shot. He's black. He's got a weird name. He'd only been in the Senate for, a year. Tom Barrett was the first mayor anywhere in the country to endorse Barack Obama. And he did an event for him here. Tom Barrett did. Invited Barack Obama to come to the Milwaukee Theater because Tom Barrett wanted everybody to know that he was endorsing the black guy that was running for president. Tom is a very politically calculating guy, and I know this because I learned a lot from him. Tom Barrett was thinking, okay, I'm going to endorse this dude as a long shot. If Barack Obama gets elected president, he will take me, Tom Barrett, out of this city and give me a sweet cabinet position, put me back in D.C. Tom liked to be in Washington, D.C. Being in Milwaukee and handling the day-to-day problems of this city really, really sucks because Milwaukee can't be led. I don't know if you guys know that. We won't listen to anybody. We cannot be led. We're a bunch of like independent contractors in this city. So even if we have a good mayor, we still ain't going to listen to him. So it's impossible to lead this city. And also, if we're a city that is impossible to lead, when we make bad decisions as people and as a community and as a city, we're just going to blame the mayor. If that makes sense to you. We can't be led because we won't listen to anybody because we're like, who the hell do you think you are telling us how we should live our lives, mayor? And the mayor will be like, well, I'm trying to improve the city. Here are some things that we need to do. Shut up, mayor. And so then we'll just go do a bunch of stupid stuff, commit crimes, steal a bunch of cars, just be horrible, throw garbage on the ground, and then say it's the mayor's fault. The mayor's not keeping the streets clean as people are literally throwing cheeseburger wrappers on the ground. Boy, this mayor is terrible. Cheeseburger wrapper on the ground. Didn't really work out for Tom Barrett because Obama didn't want him. But eventually, Tom Barrett got selected by Joe Biden to get the sweetest ambassadorship on planet Earth. Country of Luxembourg. 600,000 people. All they do there is ski and eat caviar. They've always been neutral in every war. And I think they have the highest number of banks per capita. It's just a little rich skiing village. Now, when Tom Barrett got selected to be the ambassador to Luxembourg, Cavalier Johnson was the Common Council president. Cavalier Johnson got elected to the Common Council president on a majority white council vote. Cavalier Johnson maintained his loyalties to Tom Barrett, maintained his loyalties to other white members of the council, because white members of the council also worked very well with Tom Barrett. And so when Tom Barrett leaves, guess what happens? The Common Council president becomes acting mayor. Tom Barrett had this whole thing scripted out. Guy named Bob Donovan, who, for all intents and purposes, worked well with his constituents, but Bob Donovan was nuts. He was a throwback to the 1950s and also an avid Trump supporter. So when there was a mayoral election, it was Cavalier Johnson and Bob Donovan. And Bob Donovan had run for mayor before and just absolutely got his clock clean. He didn't have the kind of appeal that could win citywide, you see. And then Cavalier Johnson, it was a very low bar, beat Bob Donovan for mayor with like 70% of the vote. That is how Cavalier Johnson arrived at the position that he is in. He never really had to build a base of support. He never had to be on the council for decades and decades and then get the opportunity to run for mayor. Everything kind of fell in line with his agreement to be loyal to Tom Barrett and the white members of the council voting for Cavalier Johnson to be council president. Cavalier Johnson was already next in line to be mayor. All we needed was Tom Barrett to leave, and Tom Barrett left. And Tom Barrett left essentially on his own accord. He got the best ambassadorship that he could possibly get. I said all that to say this. Now, you have the council that goes to war with one another with great frequency. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, talk about the legislation that Mark Chambers created and authored. And then with the help of a couple of the white alders, the Latino members of the Common Council essentially stole Mark Chambers' legislation, had a press conference on Mark Chambers' legislation, did not invite Mark Chambers to the press conference where they stole his legislation. Just want you guys to know this. This is what Republicans do in the state assembly. A Democrat will come up with a beautiful idea that'll, like, I don't know, help kids read or solve the crime problem or provide broadband internet support people or whatever. A Democrat will come up with a bill. The Republicans will steal it. They'll introduce it, and the Republicans will pass it and take credit for it. Jocasta did exactly that. That's something on the Republican playbook. And this woman is running for Secretary of State as a Democrat? Ha! I think not. Vote no on Joe. We're going to talk about it on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It is time to plan for kindergarten. Will your child turn 3, 4, or 5 by September 1st? Learn about kindergarten programs and enroll now at Milwaukee Public Schools. Explore schools offering traditional kindergarten, Montessori, and more. MPS students enjoy art, music, and physical education along with reading, writing, math, and science. Bus transportation and before and after school care are available. Attend the citywide kindergarten enrollment fair on February 21st at North Division High School. Get the details at mpsmke.com/enroll.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the second annual Truth Community Awards, happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This award show will honor the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. We are rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Buy your tickets now by visiting 1017thetruthAwards.com. Tickets are just $20, which includes free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It was 2020, and my political action committee had helped Jocasta in an election cycle prior to, because she and I used to work together at the previous incarnation of 101.7. So this is my second go around with this same frequency of 101.7. So she and I worked together when the radio station was on Brady Street. She was cool. Like, we worked well together. We agreed on policy, whatever. I liked her stances on education. So, it's cool. She came to myself and another one of my colleagues in 2020 because Jocasta had a personal problem with now Judge Marissa Bell Cabrera. It was personal between those two. I didn't really get into it. But Jocasta was like, look, let's find a candidate to run against Marissa Bell. Because remember, Jocasta had a personal problem with her. I'm coming to find out this is a theme with Jocasta. So whatever their personal problem was, Jocasta was like, look, let's find a candidate to run against Marissa Bell. Hopefully beat her. Because Jocasta wanted to settle her beef with Marissa Bell Cabrera, now Judge Marissa Bell Cabrera, by finding a candidate to beat her. So she was going to use the political system to punish somebody that she didn't like. And she was like, Sherwin and another unnamed person, hey, let's find a candidate. And when you guys do this, you find a candidate, I'm going to raise a bunch of money for them. I'm going to endorse them. I'm going to put my name behind this candidate because we want Marissa Bell gone. It made zero difference to me. I didn't care. And plus, if I can further my politics with Jocasta, cool, because then maybe at some point down the line she would help me. So we found a candidate, really good dude, really nice guy, super hard worker. And, we raised a little bit of money for the guy, but he's really working his tail off. In fact, we even got, may he rest in peace, former state senator Jeff Plaley was acting in a managerial capacity for this candidate that we found because we wanted to help Jocasta eviscerate one of her political enemies. So we're waiting on Jocasta to do an endorsements and do a fundraiser because remember, the only reason why we are involved in this race is because Jocasta asked us to. This is how politics works in the city. I'm just giving you a little snapshot here. So we're a couple of weeks into the campaign. Nothing from Jocasta. Nothing. Didn't raise a penny. Didn't contribute a dime. Didn't endorse this guy. We then were on the hook to raise all of the money for his campaign, essentially, to help this guy. And we couldn't raise enough. We obviously couldn't. He lost. But Jocasta won because even though Marissa Bell got elected, Marissa Bell had to run really, really hard, had to work really, really hard. Marissa Bell had to raise a whole bunch of money, and that's all that Jocasta wanted. She wanted to scare this woman who she had a personal vendetta with. I'm still not okay with that because Jocasta lied to my face. Like, don't tell me that you're going to support and endorse this candidate. And I felt bad for the candidate. He was like, hey, y'all, why don't Jocasta like me? I thought she was going to help me and support me because he looked up to her, this candidate. He lost. Jocasta just went on about her business. Brings us to present day. This one is from Urban Milwaukee, written by Jeremy Janine. It's tough to pinpoint when the feud between council members Mark Chambers Jr. and Jocasta Zamarripa started simmering, but everyone in the council's office suite last Wednesday knew when it erupted. In the hours leading up to the council's unveiling of its Ice Out policy package, the two had to be separated after a discussion of a mask ban turned into a shouting match. Chambers, according to several sources, could be heard shouting F you or go F yourself, while Zamarripa, according to multiple sources, might have started using profanity first by telling Chambers to get the F out of her office. Now, let me just say before I go on, that's not uncommon. It's if council members are disagreeing on something, the arguments are so severe because the stakes for our city are so large. So, they're real sensitive. If somebody's infringing on their body of work and they came up with an idea or a piece of legislation and somebody doesn't do the work and they snatch it, it's like you writing a book and somebody plagiarizing it. Or it's like Michelle Obama giving a speech and Melania is stealing it from her, right? You get a little upset. So the interactions of council members arguing, it's not unusual. And also, here's the thing, because they're all independently elected, they can't get each other fired. Think about this. Think about how you would talk to some of your coworkers if none of y'all could get fired. If you were elected by the people, right? You can talk to your coworkers any old kind of way because your coworkers can't go to HR and get you fired because you're all elected independently by different districts, by people in the city of Milwaukee. Whoever started it, the feud could take a while to blow over, perhaps hoping to diffuse the situation. Common Council President Jose G. Perez, who's had a really rough couple of weeks his damn self, a Zamarripa ally, used his unilateral authority to remove Chambers from the powerful Licenses Committee, which Zamarripa chairs, and from the Judiciary and Legislation Committee. He was added to Public Safety and the Health Committee. So Mark Chambers was removed, and this is just as much Jocasta's fault as it was anybody else's. But Mark Chambers got removed from the two most powerful committees and put on the two least powerful because Jose Perez, a Puerto Rican, Jocasta Zamarripa, a Puerto Rican, essentially ganged up to punish Mark Chambers because there was an argument amongst colleagues. Now, here's what should have happened. And this is my opinion. I'm not on that council, nor would I want to be, because y'all wouldn't want to see me coming. I'd be cussing people out every time I say good morning to them. Jose should have said as council president, hey, Both of y'all shut up. Mark, go outside, cool off. Jocasta, you need to chill. We're going to give it a little bit of time. We're going to come together. We're going to sort this damn thing out. You don't take an African-American man off of his committees because Jocasta stole legislation and because the white liberal progressive alders and the Puerto Ricans on the council want to have a mask ban that pertains to ICE. But Mark Chambers came up with that idea of that mask ban 2 years ago, and they're going to steal it from him and not even invite him to the press conference they did on the legislation that is a mask ban. Had you invited Mark to the press conference, he probably would have been cool. And they probably could have said, oh, we'd like to thank Alderman Chambers. He actually came up with this idea to ban the Pooh Shiesty mask, and we want to use that same legislative spirit to ban ICE, making it against city ordinance if ICE ever comes here to wear a mask. That's all they had to do, but they didn't. Now, you can speculate as to why they did not want the black alder up there with the Puerto Ricans and the other white alders. I'll let you go ahead and figure that out. And once you figure that out, you'll probably understand why white people live on the south side and black people live on the north side, because it's all basically the same. Hoping to diffuse the situation, Common Council President Jose Perez, a Zamarripa ally, used his unilateral authority to remove Chambers from the powerful License Committee, which Zamarripa chairs, and from the Judiciary and Legislation Committee. Well, then, here's the thing. She keeps her chairwomanship of the most powerful committee, because here's the thing. Jocasta's running for a statewide office, and if you're on the License Committee, you can raise insane amounts of money. Because what a business owner that needs a license from the city of Milwaukee is willing to give in campaign donations to make sure that their license gets renewed. Just think about that for a second. And Jocasta's running a 72-county campaign for Secretary of State. Now, this is where we're stuck. She runs for Secretary of State. She is no longer on the council. Vamoose, she's gone. Don't got to worry about her anymore. But then at the same time, does she deserve to be elevated to being a statewide elected official? And let me tell you why I'm a little bit territorial over the Secretary of State position, which most of y'all don't even know what it is. You don't even care. That's my Archie Bunker. You don't even care, Edith, huh? Boy, the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade. Vel Phillips was the first African-American to win a statewide election in Wisconsin when she ran and won for Secretary of State in 1982. I don't think Jocasta needs to be in that legacy. This is my personal opinion. I'm one person. I'm just one person with an opinion. I'm one vote. I don't vote twice either in the same election because that's against the law. I'm just giving my personal opinion. It's just my personal opinion. But do we remove her from the council by elevating her to Secretary of State and putting her in the legacy of Vel Phillips when I think Jocasta's got a problem with black people? Again, this is my opinion. Or do we keep her on the council? Because if she loses her Secretary of State race, and I looked at some of the other candidates running for Secretary of State, oh, they're awful. There's a black guy running, though, for Secretary of State. Dude wears a cowboy hat. I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you, sir. So I don't. There's also the possibility of censure, which carries no legal repercussion, but it's a public vote of admonishment by the council. The first and only time the council issued a censure was in 1990 to Alderman Mike McGee Sr., he's black, for his role in a sausage poisoning hoax and other threats. Mark Chambers was added to the Public Safety and Health Committee. Zamarripa was removed from the Community and Economic Development Committee, where Chambers serves and now only serves on licenses. So she kept her most cherry of all the committees, and Mark Chambers was essentially relegated to the dustbin. Alderman Peter Burgelis confirmed to Urban Milwaukee that he had drafted a motion of censure. So they're trying to punish Mark Chambers. Two members of the council got into an argument. So why are you punishing the black alder? Because he got his legislation stolen. They did a press conference and didn't invite him to the press conference of his own legislation? And you're punishing him? I'm going to take a break. Come back. We have a YouTube poll. Who do you believe, Jocasta Zamarripa or Mark Chambers? Go to YouTube and vote. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. On Friday night, the Milwaukee Panthers head to Michigan to take on Horizon League Conference foe, the Detroit Mercy Titans.
And Dorcia slip it right at the top. Elam contested three, and it doesn't matter. He buried it anyway. 20 to shoot. Elam will. No on the three to the top. Ricochet. Dorcius. He'll take the three, and he'll bury it.
Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 5:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Serious truck crash? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Correction. Joe Casta's Mexican. Oops. Yeah, I know. I thought she was Puerto Rican. You know what? Shout out to the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans coming together to be against the black man, though. Because, you know, Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, they got beef. You know what I mean? Because the Mexicans used to be mad because Puerto Ricans have citizenship. And Mexicans, when they came to America, especially now, they're hunted. And they have to work like really super hard. And a lot of times Mexicans, when they come to the United States, they got to start businesses because they can't get hired. They don't get access to student loan money. They have none of the benefits of citizenship. So the Mexicans are mad at the Puerto Ricans because Puerto Ricans are citizens. So like it's this beef. And I learned this many, many years ago because I just used to think that, you know, because I'm black and I speak a little bit of Spanish. I guess my foundation in learning Spanish is counting on Sesame Street. But I just thought that this is the ignorant Sherwin. I'm no longer ignorant. I'm smarter now. But the ignorant Sherwin said, "Oh, well, Puerto Rican is just a fancy Mexican," which that's rude. But that's the old me. The new me knows that they are very unique nationalities. Later that morning, Chambers ran into Perez in the hallway and was led to Zamarripa's office to discuss the bill. A handful of other council members were present, including Alex Brower, Peter Bergelis, and Marina Dmitrievich. Well, that's a communist group. In a conversation that lasted several minutes and continually escalated, Chambers said his policy should be the one followed, while Zamarripa refused to back down. Zamarripa ultimately asked Chambers to leave her office, which resulted in the alderman throwing a hat on the ground. I asked Mark directly. I said, Mark, did you throw the hat at her? He said, no, I threw it on the ground. I was like, all right, fair enough. Perez, according to one source, sought unsuccessfully to de-escalate the situation by telling Chambers to calm down. You know that doesn't work, right? If somebody's upset, you can't be, calm down. You can't do that. That doesn't work. Chambers' aide, whose office is immediately next to Zamarripa's, also came over to intervene, according to several sources, but Chambers declined and closed the door on her. Well, he probably didn't want her involved. At no point, according to several sources, was there an expectation that a physical altercation would take place, but voices were continually raised and a number of those present in the room walked out. Chambers is one of the tallest and largest council members, and Zamarripa in a statement said she was physically intimidated. That's what I don't like. You tell somebody to get the F out of your office and you stole their legislation, and then when they fire back at you and they defend the work that they have done that you stole, now you're physically intimidated. See, I know what they're doing here. You know that whole, I'm scared. He's a big black man. You know how many black men are dead because women said, I was intimidated by him. He scared me. You know how many police is in City Hall at any one point in time? If it was that bad, they'd have called the police. I don't like that. So here's the thing. You guys can do what you want to do. If you're losing an argument because you stole somebody's legislation and you happen to be losing the argument to a black man that is bigger than you, and now you want to claim that you were physically intimidated, okay, hey, you know what, cool, and maybe she was, but guess what? You don't deserve no black men's votes because we would hate to intimidate you with our votes for you. If we are intimidating, if we want to express emotion for legislation that we created and you want to then, because you know what that is? That's gaslighting, I think. That makes him back down because we know that when a woman says she's intimidated, we have to back down as men. We have to. When a woman says, oh, no, I'm scared, I'm intimidated, we got to back down because you know what she can say after that. The fracas comes as Zamarripa is running for Secretary of State as a Democrat. Chambers has already endorsed her in the race. Ain't that crazy? He endorsed her, and I don't know if any other council members have. I don't think any other black members of the council endorsed her. So they were cool at one point where he endorsed her for her statewide run. Chambers responded with a statement to cast blame on both himself and Zamarripa for the incident. Quote, as dedicated public servants, we feel passionately about the city of Milwaukee and our role in shaping policy within it, Chambers said in the statement. However, we do need to be sure we are balancing that passion with a spirit of collegiality, and both Alderwoman Zamarripa and I have an opportunity to better represent our districts in this way. Though it is true that we both raised our voices in reflecting how strongly we felt about our position on the issues, it is a mischaracterization to suggest that because I am a man who raised his voice, anyone was in harm's way or their safety was in question. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 2.
Truth Nation, something big is coming. The Summerfest lineup you've been waiting for is dropping soon, and 101.7 The Truth is getting you ready early. From February 16th through February 19th, we're giving you a chance to win T-Mobile 9-day power passes so you can experience it all. Listen throughout the day for your shot to win and get plugged in before the official lineup announcement. Don't miss out, the countdown is on. Only on 101.7 The Truth.
Listen Fridays to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris during Black History Month for Dr. Ken's Trivia. It's not just questions, it's culture, facts they don't teach you, and a few stories that matter. We'll test what you know and teach each other something new along the way. Lock in your Fridays in February. Be ready to call in and bring your brain with you. Dr. Ken's Trivia, Friday in February on Truth in the Afternoon with me, Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, YouTube, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Want to protect our planet? The air we breathe, water we drink, and land we share? Real progress begins with birds. Yes, birds. The very ones we see and hear every day. On a walk, in the park, or simply out the window. That's because birds are more than birds. They're symbols, sentinels that reveal the health of our planet and our people. And by helping them thrive, all of us thrive as well. Audubon is a place where birds matter, where habitats are protected, where communities are engaged, and where change takes flight. Because at Audubon, hope begins with birds. Progress begins with birds. It all begins with birds. Audubon.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do little wiggles.
The slate's coming in. What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
You're just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I am going through, in excruciating detail, a history of the Common Council and the racial divides that are on it. You have 8 African American members of the Common Council, but they do not always vote together. Some of them split because of their loyalties to the Common Council president, and he has his own political agenda, and I guess he can, right? But it peels the unity from what I think is a monumental feat in a city like Milwaukee that we never really guessed. I mean, at some point it would happen because just the demographics of the country is shifting, that we would have a majority African-American Common Council, and now we have it. Because it seems like the North Side has been neglected, and we can have a conversation about that if you disagree. A disproportionate amount of resources has been poured into downtown. I mean, I see why. Because the better and bigger and stronger and more robust your downtown is, the more money can get collected, the more sales tax revenue, hotel rental taxes, car rental taxes, the more money gets spent. And the property downtown is worth a lot more, so you can collect more property tax dollars from valuable real estate downtown. But you cannot neglect the neighborhoods, and some of that neglect, when I say neglect, resources, funneling money to like business districts. So Brady Street, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. Brady Street ain't always look like that. When I first got my driver's license in the 1990s, we'd ride all over the city. Brady Street was a dump. Brady Street is where the heroin addicts were. Brady Street, you had to watch where you stepped because you might step on a needle. But they invested in Brady Street. They got tax incremental financing on Brady Street. They brought in more businesses and made it easier and approved their licenses. And look at Brady Street now. Well, maybe don't look at it now because it's kind of going in the other direction, because if it's a warm summer night, you might see a collection of young ladies twerking on fire trucks. Don't even know how they get on top of the fire trucks, but my, it's a sight to behold. So that same kind of investment, we haven't seen it on, let's say, Center Street between 51st Street and 35th Street. You haven't really seen it on North Avenue between 35th Street and 55th Street. You see what I'm saying? Like downtown got, in certain East Side neighborhoods, got that kind of investment. And a lot of that was because the Caucasian alders throughout the years and the decades wouldn't vote to approve funding and resources and tax incremental financing districts for black neighborhoods. That is a reflection of the segregation and the racism that still lives and breathes in Milwaukee. So we thought a remedy to that is, oh, great. We'll get, one day we'll have a majority black common council, and then we, the black people in this city, will be able to get more investment that we saw go to other neighborhoods. The South Side gets plenty of it as well, right? But then there's also the possibility that, oh, there will be other people of color on the council that may vote together because, you know, we're all people of color, aren't we? Let me just go ahead and just clear this up for those of you that lump us all together. When I talk about people of color, I'm just talking about a racial category of people that can be marginalized. Doesn't mean that they all are. But there might be a misconception that all people of color get along. We do not. I know Mexicans hate us. Now, it's not universal, but trust me, they're not fans. We love their food, though. That's the problem. That's how they get us. Even Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and people from South American countries and Central American countries, we think that all the Latinos and Hispanics all get along. They do not. They've gone to war with each other before. So all people of color don't necessarily get along. Here's another example. I'm a heterosexual, cisgender man whose pronouns are dude, mister, fella, and sir. All right? I think the L's, the B's, the G's, the T's, the Q's, and the pluses, and I don't even know what's in the pluses. That's all everything else. Because I'm heterosexual and cisgender, I think that the L's and the B's and the G's and the T's and the Q's and the pluses all love each other and they all get along. They all ride a school bus together and they all hold hands and sing gay songs. Or maybe queer songs. They figure out what their songbook is going to be. They don't all get along. And so I think that there's a misunderstanding, especially amongst the whites. They think that the blacks and the browns all get together and plot world domination. No, we don't. We're fractured too because there's always a contingent. A lot of times it's Latinos and Hispanics that break on behalf of white folks. Because there's some Latinos and Hispanics, they'll dye that hair blonde, they got blue eyes already, and they think that they're white. But what they need to know, because some of them may be unfamiliar with white supremacy like black people are, even if you try to assimilate into white culture, let them find out your last name is Martinez. They're going to hate you like they hate us. And you know that now, but I think there was a lot of Latinos and Hispanics that were maybe under some kind of an illusion because they're getting hell right now with ICE. They're just snatching people up off the streets. And I feel bad for them because they were oblivious. They thought that, if we come over to this country and we keep our heads down and we work really hard, we don't cause any trouble, don't matter. You were being detained, not even deported, just detained, rounding people up and putting them in prison. I know that's a shock to them because some of them thought that they were good with the white folks. You got to be careful of them because they appear as your friend. They do. But their agenda is the same, and that's why America has not really moved when it comes to racial progress, and I don't really think that it will. Because even if Caucasian folk, and we're going to talk about how white people, and white men in particular, get radicalized, because if we don't get to the bottom of that, we're going to have a whole nother election cycle of the January 6th-esque people wanting to produce their own candidate, and that's tough because they're also going to get white women to vote for that candidate, too, and that's something we won't be able to defeat, so we want to have a little conversation about that. Just have a little chat about it. So we'll talk about the radicalization and what we can do, but whiteness has to maintain itself, and it does so in a variety of different ways. And here's the thing, they're very, very nice, but at the end of the day, they get the benefit of the doubt, they get the job, they get the money, they get the promotion, they get the title. Everybody else can go away. And go away means we'll kill you, you go to prison, or we'll send you back to your country. But all while doing it, they're offering you pierogies. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever had a pierogi. I mean, I would eat one. There's very few foods I won't eat, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think I might have had a pierogi. It's like a little dumpling, right? Yeah. Andrew, this doesn't offend you, does it? Like, you're a great guy, but just...
Absolutely not.
Okay, I just gotta make sure, because I have, in the past, I had a Bernie Sanders ultra super duper liberal, long-haired, weird, really, really weird guy when I was at the previous 101.7. And I would just be going on my ranch, just talking about my perspective as an African-American in a segregated city, just so people have an idea of what it's like. Just to inform people, right? I'm just telling people the truth. He would get so mad at me, Andrew, he would walk completely out of the studio. There was a little restaurant next door. So I couldn't go on break. I couldn't answer telephone calls, and I would just have to just talk. That's why I can talk for so long. Like I used to have to do 35 and 40-minute sets because he would get so upset he would literally leave the building, go next door, and have breakfast. Because somebody went to the restaurant like, Sherwin, why is your producer in here having breakfast? I'm like, oh, that's where he went. Yeah, so I got to be careful. He was real sensitive.
I could not imagine anything you could say that would make me get up and leave.
All right, well, I won't say, and it's not about you, because it takes a hell of a lot of courage. It would be like, because we say some stuff over here, 101.7 The Truth, it would be like me producing a very conservative Fox News pro-Trump radio show. I know I would hear things that would kind of get under my skin, and it's hard. It's just hard for producers in general, because it's, how do you just sit and listen to your host talk? Because you all have your own opinions, too. With some producers, it's a little bit more pronounced and profound than others. Others just sit there, right? You got some that chime in every 10 seconds. Let's take a little breath here. All right, let's get back to finishing this up here. All right. Where were we? Zamaripa's statement places all the blame on Chambers. Now remember, she's the thief, though. And the victim, because of course she is. Zamaripa's statement places all the blame on Chambers. Quote, on February 11th, an incident occurred at City Hall involving Alderman Mark Chambers, Jr. and me. What should have been a conversation among colleagues quickly escalated into something far more serious. I was confronted in my office, verbally berated, and physically intimidated in a way that made me feel trapped and unable to safely exit. Multiple individuals witnessed what occurred, said the alderperson. During the encounter, I was subjected to profane and degrading remarks, including being taunted to, quote, start crying. The comments were gendered and demeaning. This is not the first time I have experienced hostility from this individual. This was not just a personal disagreement or raised voices. When an elected official uses the authority and physical presence of their office to intimidate and silence a colleague. Joe Cassidy, you got the same office. You're both alders. When an elected official uses the authority and physical presence of their office to intimidate or silence a colleague, it is a misuse of public power that undermines the democratic process. It also sends a troubling message to the residents I represent that their voices can be bullied or pushed aside inside City Hall. Holding public office is built on public trust. That trust depends on every elected official being able to do their job without threats, intimidation, or I'm trying to get through this. I'm trying to read this, y'all. I'm trying to just read it. That is why I have filed a formal complaint and requested a full investigation under the city's ethics code, including whether the conduct constituted misuse of office or violated the standards required of city officials. But for the integrity of city government and the communities whose representation must be, accountability matters, not for me, but for the integrity of city government and the communities whose representation must be respected. This is Joe Casta's statement. The issue of addressing ICE comes as I don't even want to read all that mess. So she's playing the victim because she stole somebody's legislation and somebody reacted to her. You know, sometimes when you do something, people are going to respond. That's a part of being an adult, an accountable human being. You don't want to draw somebody's ire, don't steal from them. It's like you steal my car. Enter my car you stole into a parade and expect me to just clap and throw candy. Come on, y'all. Come on. And the only person that was punished for this was the person that got their legislation stolen. Now remember, black elected officials have a chip on their shoulder. They want to create legislation because there's a perception that they don't do anything. And it's weird because it seems in the city of Milwaukee, because if you look at the dilapidation of black neighborhoods, we immediately think, oh, that alderperson isn't doing anything. Do you ever stop to think that that alderperson can't do anything because they are outnumbered on the council and they can't get the money in the budget resolution that will improve the look of their community? And so when alderpersons come up with ideas and come up with legislation, they fight really, really hard for it. And I understand why somebody would be mad if they stole my idea, because here we go again, right? Somebody's going to say, oh, Mark Chambers and the rest of those black alders aren't doing anything. And I hear that mess echoed here on this radio station. So I think that if they're going to punish anybody, then both alders should lose their committee assignments, or you make them shake hands and work on a piece of legislation together that they both agree on. Because I know that there's things that they both want for the city, even though they represent very different districts. But I just find this really, really troubling that it's so easy to demonize a black man. And I know this because I am one, and this similar thing has happened to me. It happens to us all the time. I mean, a woman can just say, he yelled at me and he screamed at me and I felt like I couldn't leave and I felt trapped. Like, that's accusing him of false imprisonment. That's a felony. I think it just went a little bit too far. He got mad. You threw his hat on the ground. Oh, no, you dangerous man, you threw your hat on the ground. So, got a YouTube poll up. Do you believe that? You got to keep in mind, the police are in that building, and if it got that bad, the police can get to any floor in City Hall in a matter of seconds. Now, had the story been, the police came, now that's a little bit different. The police weren't even called. If it rose to that level where she felt intimidated, I know she would have called 911. I know she would have, because she's the type, but she didn't. And I think she's trying to use this moment to discredit someone who I believe represents our community. I'm going to take a break, come back. So I got a message from a constituent of Joe Casta's, because I want to be unbiased here. They sent me a message, and I want to read what they said. This is someone who's been represented by her, okay? Maybe we have it all wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe all of this is wrong. So I want to hear from someone that actually voted for her and that is represented by her, because she said in her statement, I'm doing everything for my constituents, and my constituents feel disrespected. Well, let's hear from one of your constituents. It's getting good, Andrew. Or at least I'm having fun. I like drama and gossip. Makes talk radio exciting. You're listening to The Exciting Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
It is time to plan for kindergarten. Will your child turn 3, 4, or 5 by September 1st? Learn about kindergarten programs and enroll now at Milwaukee Public Schools. Explore schools offering traditional kindergarten, Montessori, and more. MPS students enjoy art, music, and physical education along with reading, writing, math, and science. Bus transportation and before and after school care are available. Attend the citywide kindergarten enrollment fair on February 21st at North Division High School. Get the details at mpsmke.com/enroll.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Now, this person, I'm going to allow them to be anonymous, even though they posted their sentiments somewhat publicly. And this is a constituent, because I'm trying to figure out, like, where's the truth at, right? Did Mark get a little animated? I know he did. I know. But was Jocasta in the wrong for stealing somebody's legislation and doing a 50-minute press conference on the legislation and not inviting the original author? Like, that's disrespect. You don't steal somebody's work. You don't steal somebody's work in a city where there's a perception that black people are lazy and that our elected officials don't do anything. You don't do that's personal now. Now, this is what one of Jocasta's constituents said. Now, full disclosure, I am not one of her constituents, but I've known her for a long time. I've helped her get elected to the state assembly years ago. I've raised money for her. I even helped her in her own Jocasta's political agenda because she wanted somebody defeated, one of her colleagues in state government, because she had a beef with it. I didn't have a problem with that because I was cool with Jocasta. But I also got played. I got spit in my face because she said, "Oh, Sherwin, you help me beat this lady. And then I'm going to endorse the candidate that you guys select and raise them a bunch of money." She never did any of that. But she got her agenda accomplished because she made her political enemy, her arch nemesis, who was another Latina woman, by the way, made her have to raise a whole bunch of money and work extra hard so that Marissa Bell Cabrera could maintain her state assembly seat. Marissa Bell Cabrera is now a judge. So winner Marissa Bell. All right, it says, as someone who lives in her aldermanic district, these are my complaints about Alderwoman Jocasta Zamarripa. 1, she doesn't and never has lived in the district. What? Joey! Didn't Aisha Carr just get a felony for that? Oh, no. Let me continue. 2, she flip-flopped about federal funding for police, accepted under Biden, and after 2020 Black Lives Matters protests, even though she, quote, implied, please don't sue me, this is what the constituent is saying, she wanted to defund, then makes a big deal about ICE. Both are problematic, but big Democratic donors can count on her unquestioned loyalty, following the narrative to support one police over the other. No moral certainty with Jocasta. She's litigious with her opponents to the point of spite. 3A. She sues because she has a war chest from running unopposed. She sues so she can run unopposed. 4. I've never seen her outside of a fundraising event or an event organized by a community organization staffed by party patrons. Once I saw her hand out ice cream at a VIA event with 5 children at a playground. That was the most I've seen her in the community. 5. She spends no substantial time in the district and is not well known by people outside of political circles. 6. Bob Donovan was a joke, but at least you'd see him around. He'd acknowledge you politely and let you disagree with him face to face. I think the thing I hate most is that Jocasta's performance forces me to see the good in Bob Donovan. Door knocking every 4 years when you are gathering signatures to get on the ballot doesn't cut it. Now that was from one of her constituents. So that's how they feel about her. And I'm not in a position to dispute any of that because I don't live in, I believe, the 9th Aldermanic District on Milwaukee's near south side. But that's just, I think that takes away some of her credibility. Because, you know, when elected officials argue and they disagree, that's one thing. That's professional, that's political, that's policy, that's politics. But if there is a constituent that lives in the district, and maybe he voted for her, I'm not sure, I can't tell. He did not state, and it is he did not state whether he voted for her or not, but it seems that he is very dissatisfied. The part where he says she doesn't live in the district, I don't have any verification of that, and I'm not going to pursue it because I'm just here providing information. But if, I don't know, I guess if somebody was curious, it happens though. Let me see if I can say this or not. Yeah, I guess so because they're dead. There was a member of Congress that represented the 4th congressional district. So Milwaukee used to have 2 congressional districts because we lost population over the last, 20 years. More than that, 30 years. So you know how Milwaukee's segregated? North side is black, south side is other. I-94 east and west was essentially the dividing line, right? North of I-94, you had much more diversity. South of 94, some time ago, this was 20 plus years ago, it was mostly white, Polish, whatever. Well, we had 2 members of Congress representing the city of Milwaukee. A guy named Jerry Kleczka, you don't get more Polish than that. It's very Polish. He represented the south side, and then Tom Barrett, who I worked for, represented the north side and the North Shore. So Glendale, Brown Deer, River Hills, Shorewood, the city of Milwaukee, etc. And then all points south of I-94 was Jerry Kleczka. Jerry Kleczka lived in Washington, D.C. Lived there. You're supposed to live in your district. He lived in D.C. Now, you have to have an address in the district because you got to live in the district. Like legally, if you represent a particular district in Congress, you got to live in it. Like if you're a senator from Wisconsin, you got to live in Wisconsin because you're a senator from Wisconsin. Jerry Kleczka used to use a vacant attic at his sister's house as his address. Nobody believed him. And his wife lived in Washington, D.C. They lived there for like 20 years. So it does happen. I think it's unfair because if you are knocking on doors and engaging voters in a defined boundary of a district, but you choose to live somewhere else, think about how unfair that is. Your voters are forced to live in that district, but you can just go move somewhere else. You're not supposed to do that because you're not truly representing your constituents if you don't live amongst them. That's the thing about representative government that I like. If you're out just hanging out, walking your dog, going to the grocery store in the district, in the neighborhood, you're supposed to see your elected officials. You're also supposed to see the cops and the firefighters because we used to have this residency requirement. Russell Stamper knows these numbers because he's the one that originally presented them to me. It's 40-60. And I don't know which one is fire department. I don't know which one is police. But 40% of the Milwaukee police force, or 60%, don't live in the city of Milwaukee. And then either 40% or 60% of our firefighters don't live in the city of Milwaukee, but they work for the Milwaukee Fire Department. We want our city officials and our first responders to live here because we want them to get to know the neighbors. Because if you know that family down the street, you're going to have like a personal connection. Like, oh, snap, I know that family. They live down the street from me. Their house is on fire. Let me use extra water. Or the police officer. You want them to see these kids grow up. You want the police officer to know the mama and the daddy, and then the mama gets pregnant and has the baby, and then when the baby turns into kindergarten in the first and the second and the third grade, and then maybe the kid that the cop saw grow up gets in a little bit of trouble running with the wrong crowd because the cop remembers when the mother was pregnant with this little boy. Now he's 13. That cop can be like, hey, come get over here. Now I remember when your mother was pregnant with you. You need to stop running with the wrong crowd. I've known you since before you were even born, little boy. That goes a lot further. Get on the ground! Freeze! Shoot, 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 bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean? It's very different. But they don't live here. It's disrespectful. If you don't want to live in the city of Milwaukee, you know what? It's not for everybody. I assure you that this city is an acquired taste. What does Milwaukee taste like? If I had to... It tastes like Jägermeister. Andrew says it tastes like Miller Lite. I think that our flavor in this city is more robust than a light beer. It's maybe black liquor. No, it's not that pungent. But Milwaukee it's an acquired taste. Not everybody is going to like it here. It's very different. You have to get used to it. And some of the things that we have to get used to in this city, no one should have to get used to, like the way we have to drive. You got to drive very defensively in this town. Some people don't like that. Or maybe where you shop or where you dine. You got to just be aware. You know what I mean? But we have a unique flavor in the city. It tastes like Spam. No? All right. I had to take a commercial break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
Sometimes justice looks different to me. Do you want them in jail for murdering Corey Stingley? Yes, you do. Do you want them to go to trial for what they did and go through that process? Hey, you know. But at the end of the day, the men that took Corey Stingley's life, something happened to where they have to accept the fact that they did that and that they have to be labeled a murderer for a certain length of time and when it was nothing, I think that was a huge thing that happened when you had to climb mountains to get to this point. 13 years?
The Tori Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m., live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Hey, I love y'all a lot, but stop sending me stuff. Stop it. Because people, I don't want to sound rude. Don't take this the wrong way. But people will see something on the vastness of the internet. Maybe it's a Snapchat, maybe it's a Facebook post. And they find it insightful and fascinating and interesting because maybe it tells them something that they've never heard or seen before. Like, ooh, I have to send this to Sherwin. When 200 of you do that, I don't read any of them. And I know you guys find all sorts of stuff like, ooh, Sherwin, look what Trump did. I find that I need to send this to your inbox. Please don't do that. Please don't. Post it on your page, and then maybe I'll see it in the feed. Because if it's meant for my eyeballs, it'll come across my feed. It'll be in my algorithm, but don't. Because I need room in my inbox for people that are trying to slide in, you know what I mean? I gotta save space for the ladies that are trying to make it go down in my DMs. Don't push them out. It goes down in the DMs. It goes down. Zach, I can be married and still want to engage with people in the DMs. It's just conversation. Like, you know, somebody foul when their voice goes up an octave. It's just conversation. Do I need to clear that up? Do you know how many telephone calls I've gotten? I was talking to a member of the Wisconsin State Senate yesterday, just randomly. And they're like, oh, congratulations. I'm like, oh, on my Black History Award honor? They're like, no, congratulations on getting married. Do y'all not know me? Like, come on. You've heard what I've said about that institution. What I said, here, I'll read it. Y'all just, like 150 people said congratulations to me. I posted a picture of some food because I went out to eat, and then me wearing a ring. And I said, bet you didn't have me getting married on your bingo card. It's not on my bingo card either. Think about this. How do you... It's so if I was married, how are y'all going to see a picture where my wife ain't in it? Doesn't that make sense if I was married? Because you know how infuriating that would be if I was married and I took a picture of my ring and not my wife? And here's what's crazy. Only like one how many comments has got on it? 83 comments. 140 people responded. Okay? I don't think a single person asked who my wife was. So you would think that, because If I saw that a Facebook friend of mine that promoted anti-marriage values said that they got married, I need to know who is the person that got you to change your mind. That would be me, though. I would be curious, because if somebody is like, oh, yeah, I'm never getting married, and I'm not saying I would never get married. It's just, let me just do, and I don't want to offend anybody, because some of y'all love your spouses, and we love that for you. I think it's beautiful. But if you look at Milwaukee, it's not a real big city. And if you are like doing things, you got it going on, you got a good job, and you're, in the upper echelons of your professional career, like that's an even smaller group of people. And a lot of people know each other. And you have to be careful of, like, if I know my friend or somebody I knew in college dated this particular woman, I'm not dating her. So that narrows it down even more. And then there's the people that are available, that are emotionally stable, that are in a place where they can date and share their lives and be willing to make the compromise. That's even fewer people, you see. So it's very slim pickings. But then if you look at the overall conditions in the city of Milwaukee, which depending on the day, they could improve, right? The conditions in this town are sometimes less than desirable. Some of the outcomes are poor, right? The people that live in this town sometimes are a reflection of the poor outcomes of the city, right? So if Milwaukee is troubled and has problems and has issues, so do some of the people in it. And I'm not taking away from the spirit of those people, but they're just really hard to date. And if you have your own thing going on, you got your own life, you got your friends, you got your hobbies, you got your family, you have your other commitments, it's really hard. If you're going to be with somebody, you got to cut some of that stuff out. And I know some of y'all say, I'm not going to change anything if I'm in a relationship. You're also going to be single pretty soon. And I'm not holding that against you either. But when I was in, the last relationship I was in, it's a whole bunch of stuff I just couldn't do anymore. Which is fine, right? Because if you're in this relationship with this person, okay, that's the compromise. I can't go out with this friend no more. Definitely can't hang out with my female friends. I know better than that. But I do that out of respect. I believe, absolutely and unequivocally, men and women can be friends. Platonic friends. They can. And yeah, maybe it can get kind of muddy. But once you get all that settled and get all that out of the way, but like, hey, we're not going to be together physically. We're not going to date. We're going to be homies. Women can make some fantastic friends because women help men better understand women. And a woman is the best wingman you can ever have. You get 3 dudes walking into a spot. Y'all are like a bunch of creeps. You get one man walking in with his 2 very pretty female friends, and that man becomes very interesting. He's like the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world. Ladies, you know it's true. You see that fella walk in with 2 pretty little things, got nice little face cards on them. I'm using that term now for somebody's face card. It sounds terrible coming from me because I'm too old to say that term, but imagine this, ladies. You're somewhere having Galentine's Day, which is for lesbians, let's be clear. So you and your lesbian friends are having Galentine's Day, planning your trip to Jamaica with, of course, all girls where, you guys are going to run around in lingerie together. But no, you're not lesbians. Imagine a group of dudes going to Ocho Rios together, hanging out with each other, eating food and listening to music, wearing little tiny Speedos. It would be gay, right? Anyways, so you're sitting around with a bunch of your friends, ladies, at Galentine's Day, see, okay? This fella walks in, and he may not even be all that, but he's with 2 really, really attractive women. There's some intrigue about him. And nobody's saying that you're going to go talk to him or anything, but that man would get a disproportionate amount of attention because he's walking in with 2 women. Nor am I saying that men should use women to get attention from other women, but if the shoe fits type thing. Earlier in the program, I made mention that I wanted to dive deep into How can so many people in this country, because I don't think we've ever really had this conversation, we haven't dug deep into this, how can so many people in this country, especially men, completely fall victim to and acquiesce to and reduce their pride and their manhood to so blindly follow a man who is immoral, unethical, and a criminal? Like, I remember a time where someone like Donald Trump wouldn't get anywhere near the halls of power. Not only is he in the halls of power, he is tearing down the walls and rebuilding the walls of power in his sinister image. There was a period of time, and hell, I thought it wasn't that long ago, where if somebody was pedophile adjacent, they were finished. They were done. They would not be in a powerful position. They would be unemployed. They would be shamed. They would be made the worst example possible. How is it, men in particular, because I can't even begin to figure out why a woman would want to support Donald Trump. I have no idea. And I don't even need to delve into that, because if I do and come up with a conclusion, somebody would call it misogynistic, so I'm just going to leave that alone. My responsibility is understanding why so many men still to this day acquiesce to Donald Trump for no other reason than they think he's just like a great guy and he's just really tough. Look what he's done. Look what he said. Look what he's doing to our democracy. I come to find out 40,000 homes were foreclosed on last month. Donald Trump has gutted the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so we don't even know that we are heading for a recession. He thinks if you just don't tell the American people, then we won't know what's going on. Prices are still going up. He said he was going to end all the wars. Trump has bombed more people in his first year than several presidents combined. But how are people still so loyal to him? Men in particular. What does a man have to go through, or what does he have to experience to be loyal to a man that just compromises your ethics? It's insane to me. And I have these conversations with these people, and it's always, well, what about Joe Biden? What about him? Joe Biden smelled a grown woman's hair. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands of times. We may never even know how many times Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. You know who's not in the Epstein files? Joe Biden. I don't know, Joe Biden, he might have felt left out. Hey, how come nobody's inviting me to Epstein Island? I want to go. I'm serious. Joe, everybody here is a child. Oh, well, no, thank you. I'll go be with Jill. She's old like me. I'm serious. I mean it. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Oh, look, we have a Trump supporter on line one. Can't wait to hear this. I do have some information I want to share with you about how a man can get to a point where he will just bow down and acquiesce and be submissive to another man, even though that man is a liar, is a thief, is a criminal, is a felon, and is pedophile adjacent. There's a phenomenon that explains it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, something big is coming. The Summerfest lineup you've been waiting for is dropping soon, and 101.7 The Truth is getting you ready early. From February 16th through February 19th, we're giving you a chance to win T-Mobile 9-day power passes so you can experience it all. Listen throughout the day for your shot to win and get plugged in before the official lineup announcement. Don't miss out. The countdown is on. Only on 101.7 The Truth.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Life Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It is time to plan for kindergarten. Will your child turn 3, 4, or 5 by September 1st? Learn about kindergarten programs and enroll now at Milwaukee Public Schools. Explore schools offering traditional kindergarten, Montessori, and more. MPS students enjoy art, music, and physical education along with reading, writing, math, and science. Bus transportation and before and after school care are available. Attend the citywide kindergarten enrollment fair on February 21st at North Division High School. Get the details at mpsmke.com/enroll.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, something big is coming. The Summerfest lineup you've been waiting for is dropping soon, and 1017 The Truth is getting you ready early. From February 16th through February 19th, we're giving you a chance to win T-Mobile 9-day power passes so you can experience it all. Listen throughout the day for your shot to win and get plugged in before the official lineup announcement. Don't miss out. The countdown is on. Only on 1017 Le Truth. That's French. 1017 The Truth in French is 1017 Le Truth. I got some stuff here. They say it's clear evidence-based explanations as to why men with limited economic opportunity and low dating success are statistically more vulnerable to radicalization and how extremist movements deliberately exploit these vulnerabilities. All major claims are supported by peer-reviewed research, large-scale data analyses, and international political psychology findings. A part of this information about these men, I was overwhelmed with some of this stuff. And I want you to picture in your mind like a typical Trump supporter, whatever that is, but get them in your mind when I give you the description of how they got that way. Because men would never support a man like this. They wouldn't, never. They would be an embarrassment to put your support behind a man that is this immoral, this disgusting, and is this harmful to the American people. This is something new. This is something novel. 80% of women that have ever lived, okay, have reproduced. Only 40% of men have. So you know what this means? This means that there's a smaller share of men that disproportionately reproduce with the women. That one blew my mind. 80% of women that have ever lived have reproduced, but only 40% of men have, meaning 60% of men have not. And when men are unwanted by women, they begin to hate them and resent them. A lot of the manosphere stuff is just, dude, the hateful stuff, my God, that I see on my feed. Oh, my goodness. But these men who maybe grew up playing video games, never really interacted with women, and also I feel bad for this younger generation of guys because they grew up between the isolation of COVID and the Me Too movement where you can't even really approach a woman like that. If I could just do a flashback and just let y'all see, for those of you that weren't there, what we would do on the dance floor back in the 90s would be like third-degree sexual assault. And a lot of times it was the girls sexually assaulting us. Come here. You're going to bring that thing over here and grind up on me, Mr. Man. It's something going on because there's this thing. You guys know what pegging is? Yo. What? Yo. If a woman says she wants to peg a man, like that's a woman with a rape fantasy. Like that blows my mind. Like women are becoming so masculine that that's sodomy, y'all. Like that's okay. Let's talk to Alan. Hey, Alan, you're on 101.7 The Truth. I really hope you're going to stay on topic.
I'm planning on it. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
You're covering a lot of ground. One of our mutual friends. I've gone around with Perez a few times myself. I want to say this about Mr. Chambers. He's one of the few people down there who I believe has a brain. He sat on a couple of things when we were in meetings, and he was one of the people who actually listened to what we're talking about. I went one-on-one with Perez a couple times, and there's certain people that they win because of certain reasons. Well, I'm going to leave that at that. But he's not one of the brightest minds down there by far. He knows who I am too. But the other thing that he's complaining about just sounds juvenile to me. I just can't get my mind around it. Why somebody went up to him and pinched his blank. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. There's a reason why a man pinches another man. You're not going to come up and pinch me. The Trump support thing. I mean, why do I support President Trump? It has nothing to do with money. I'm going to tell you the truth. I never cared about the guy at all when he was like the guy, right? Everybody was talking about money. We had what we got, and I ain't going to look at another man's money. I could care less. And I've always been like that. But then the country, to me, and I'm getting where I'm going here, it just started falling apart. The entire thing is just to be blamed over and over and over and over and over for things I have no control over. People who don't even know you will look at you and say things, maybe because of the way you're dressed, maybe because of how you live, maybe because you go to church, maybe this and that. And we, as a nation, I believe, and this was happening way back when, my wife and I had a really good conversation today about who the first black president should have been. It should have been Malcolm X.
What?
And
land the plane, Alan.
I'm telling you the truth. No, I'm not. I'm not at all playing.
No, I said land the plane. If you're saying Malcolm X should have been the first, I'm more interested in your support for Donald Trump. And you can give me all the reasons as to why, but he's pedophile. But he's on an island where there were kids.
He's not a pedophile.
Okay.
He's not a
because
pedophile.
You say so.
He's not a pedophile.
Fair enough.
No, because they would have said that a long time ago, Sherwin, with evidence.
They did say that a long time ago, Alan, but people like you will simply say he's not. Why would you want to associate your man?
Well.
Hold on, Alan. I'm trying to save you now. Why are you defending a man who has, let's just say, an unsavory reputation for liking young girls? Who's cheated on his wife and has to pay porn stars? Who was violating the Constitution and using ICE and using Customs and Border Patrol to violate the Constitution and break into people's houses and kill American citizens.
They're not violating the Constitution at all.
We had to let that one go. That's what they do. I'm going to tell you what. If there was I got one for you. There was a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge. Oh, I can't think of his name. Oh, Tory went on and on and on. This judge, he was an elected judge. They found child porn on his computer at the courthouse. I remember Tory talking about this, just blasting this dude, right? And rightfully so, because I think he was a judge in children's court. So the access this judge had to children was unprecedented. And he's in prison. I can't remember what his name was, this judge. Tory, and I interviewed this guy. I didn't know this dude was looking at porn. I interviewed him when I was at WNOV. Didn't think nothing of it. I didn't know nothing about this dude. He was a candidate. He said, oh, sure, when you got an interview with a candidate. Tory basically accused everybody that knew that guy and ever talked to him for any reason of also being a pedophile. But for some reason, that same energy is not when it comes to Donald Trump. We'll talk more about this in Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
This Black History Moment is sponsored by Educators Credit Union and Tayback Law.
Milwaukee has a rich history of Black leaders who have broken barriers and shaped the city. Today, let's learn about Vel Phillips. Vel Phillips, a trailblazing civil rights leader who became the first Black woman to graduate from UW-Milwaukee Law School, the first Black person on the Milwaukee Common Council, and the first woman and Black person to serve as Wisconsin judge. Vel has many other accolades to add to that, but if you've ever had the opportunity to meet Vel in person, you'll know that her personality was brilliant. A Milwaukee icon, a true trailblazer, Vel R. Phillips.
This Black History Moment is sponsored by Educators Credit Union and Tayback Law.
Did you know that for 80 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has been a lifeline for our nation's veterans with spinal cord injuries and diseases like MS and ALS, and all people with disabilities? In just the last 12 months, PVA has funded research of the first non-addictive pain medication in over a decade, partnered with an award-winning sports anchor to fight for accessible medical care for women veterans, ensured all women with disabilities feel seen and empowered with help from a top cosmetic company. And that doesn't even include what PVA have done over the last 80 years, like secured the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, pioneered wheelchair basketball, helped design iconic landmarks, made the DC Metro a model transit system, and wrote and distributed resources in over 60 countries in 4 languages. None of this would be possible without your help. Every breakthrough, every battle won, and every life impacted is driven by you. Visit PVA.org to learn more.
Day 1, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day 1 is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I want to figure out how a man can just completely acquiesce to another man, a man of incredible immorality and criminality, an unethical man that has been accused and alleged to have done some really sinister things and be pedophile adjacent, because y'all remember a few years ago, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are pedophiles. Okay, where's your evidence? We don't have any, they just are. Okay. Donald Trump was on an island with a bunch of young girls and a bunch of photographs. Donald Trump very well may be a pedophile. No, he's not. But we have millions of pages of evidence that says that he is. No. But with Democrats and Bill and Hillary Clinton, you didn't need no evidence. You got millions of pages. A lot of them fingers was pointing to Trump. No, he's not. I want to know how men got to that point. And we need to figure it out. Because however men got to that point, they may remain there, and more men may be radicalized. Like, this is a kind of radicalization, and we talk about it like, oh, you know, terrorists, domestic terrorists or foreign terrorists, they get radicalized, right? They just, something gets in their head and, like, it changes their perception of things, and they go and do crazy things. You were witnessing radicalization right here in your country. This is like 30 million men. This is no small amount of people. 30 million men is like 6 Wisconsins worth of men. And they're not going away. And they will simply deny, deflect, redirect whenever you talk about the crimes that Donald Trump has committed, including voter fraud, including trying to overturn an election, including using the Department of Justice as his law firm, going after and indicting journalists. Like, it goes on and on and on. And there are people that are still supporting that. There's a high level of immorality, and it does not belong here. The kind of stuff that is happening right now, and maybe we can't see it because we're in the box. Once we get out of the box and we'll look at it objectively, we may see it differently. This is the kind of stuff that happens in countries we go to war with. If this was happening in another nation, we would have already sent troops. They're like, oh man, they're locking up journalists in that country, and they're violating people's constitutional rights, and they're using the government to censor people and to punish people, and they're detaining people with no due process. This is third world country stuff, and I sit here and I listen to people, men in particular. The women I can't do nothing about. If a woman is going to vote for Trump after all that women have lost, I ain't got nothing for you, lady. But men, we're supposed to defend high principles in this nation, and most of us still do, but a lot of us don't. And when you can accept this kind of disgusting and immoral behavior that is bad for the government, it's bad for the country, it's bad for the economy, if we can accept this, then it will happen again. And here's what I fear. The next time it'll be a damn Democrat. The Democrats might say, well, let's try our hand at authoritarianism and see how far we can go. And a lot of the rules that are being changed, a lot of the new norms that are being created, I think are going to be permanent. There are some things that Donald Trump has done that the Democrats are not going to have the political will to change. Like using federal government departments for their own agenda, going after their political enemies. And here's what's crazy. I even feel myself getting radicalized, because if the next Democratic president said, yeah, we're going to go after all of these Republicans that violated the law and violated the Constitution, and we're going to use the Department of Justice to do it, I'll be like, go get them. But this is we're not supposed to do that. And so the reason why the Epstein files, why we didn't know about them, because people are thinking like, oh, well, President Obama knew. Joe Biden knew. Do you know the Department of Justice operates independent of the president? The president selects the attorney general. But what they do has to be, listen to me and listen good. Now, y'all need to know this. What the Department of Justice does has to be independent of the president. But because Donald Trump thought that he could eviscerate his enemies by saying he was going to release the Epstein files, because Donald Trump knew that his name was going to be redacted. The president is not supposed to tell the Department of Justice what to do. That is like rule number one. There's a separation between those agencies. But Trump put political pressure on the Department of Justice, and he put a bunch of his people, his loyalists, in that agency. And look what they did. They redacted the names of the perpetrators and released the names of the victims. We weren't supposed to see the Epstein files. They were supposed to quietly go after and indict the people where the evidence led. We weren't supposed to know. They weren't supposed to make a public spectacle of this, because all they did is they re-victimized the women and the girls that were in those files, and they did it on purpose. I'm telling you, this dude hates women to a level that I don't know if I have ever seen. He hates them. Look at the women he has in powerful positions, whether it be Caroline Leavitt, whether it be Pam Bondi, whether it be Kristi Noem. All of those women are going to take the fall for him. They are all committing impeachable offenses. But guess what? They're listening to Trump, and they think they can get away with it. Well, guess what? Richard Nixon's people listen to him, too, and they all got indicted and sent to prison. Trump hates women so much that they're going to take the fall for him. You ever think for a second why Ghislaine Maxwell, a woman, is the only person in prison for the Epstein files? They're going to make women take the fall for this. Now, ladies, I can't explain why you may still support Donald Trump. I don't know why. I ain't got nothing to do with that. And I don't even want to venture that way. But when it comes to men, that is something that we need to dive deep in. Let's talk to someone who may know the answer. Bob, you're on 101.7 The Truth.
Okay. Oh, hello, Sherwin. You know, I don't care if it's white men or white women.
Okay.
I scratch my head how they voted for Trump, but especially black men. There's nothing you can say that would allow me to believe that it's any good reason for you to vote for Trump, especially if you black. I just couldn't see it. Years ago when he... And my second point, if you don't mind, I love the way Kerry speaks. I love the way Rhea speaks. I like the way you speak. But if you can tell your coworker, the word is that. T-H-A-T, not dat. D-A-T. Torito.
Bob, Kerry ain't worked here since last year.
I love English language. She handled it very good, man. And so does...
Hold on a second, Bob. Stop talking for a second. Do you think that Kerry still works here?
Well, I miss her. You know, I know she don't, but she could talk. She handles the English language. So do you. So do Rhea. But it's not that. But I'm going to still listen, man. I like, Tony, but it's that. T-H-A-T, not that. D-A-T.
All right,
Could you tell your coworker?
I'll tell Kerry. Yeah, I'll tell her next time she's on.
No, you tell Tori that.
No,
I will talk to you later.
No, you tell Tori. You call him. You tell him. He hung up. Tori says that. What if I say that? That right there. Who dat on line too? Russ. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you, Russ?
So far, so good.
Okay, then.
I wanted to answer what I think might be the problem with the people with the Trump supporters or whatever.
Okay.
There's this term I was looking up called cognitive dissonance. Have you ever heard of that?
Absolutely, yeah. Very common.
Do you think that has anything to do with it?
No, because I don't think that Trump supporters have any kind of cognitive dissonance. I don't think that they're struggling with how wrong it is. I think they actually believe that he's a great president. He's actually doing things for the country. Cognitive dissonance would be like, oh, I'm voting for Trump, but boy, I really shouldn't. Oh, this is bothering me. Oh, Trump is doing this and saying this. Oh, I really wish Trump wouldn't do that. I wish he wouldn't say that. I don't think they have that at all. I don't think they're troubled.
That would be cultish. That's cultish then to just believe in something or somebody for no real reason. Or for whatever reason they think it's going on. Because I hear a lot of them say fake news. The only person that ever said that was I think Trump said it first, and then I hear a lot of people say that. Use that term, fake news.
Discrediting the media is one of the first things that authoritarians do, because the media is supposed to tell the truth. And if the truth and honesty defames and discredits the dictator, then they defame and discredit the news. So that's a part of the playbook. But cultish behavior is very, very common. I think when we think cults, we might think like Jonestown and Jim Jones. No, cultish behavior sometimes is religion, because there's some religious customs that are freakish, weird stuff. Cutting the heads off of chickens and drinking bloods and whatever. So there's cultish behavior is common. Whenever people are like sad and broken down and destitute, and somebody like gives them hope and makes them feel optimistic, they will follow that person to the end of the earth. That's right. It's a phenomenon that's been going on since the beginning of time.
Yeah, because I always said, for myself, that it would be hard for me to be in a cult, because I don't believe hardly anything. I'm like, you can say anything you want to me, but as far as belief, I do my own research and everything or whatever, to make sure that what you say is the truth. Even when I was in school, same thing. I would research what my teachers were saying or how they said it and stuff like that. So that's the way I've always been. So I always said for me it would be hard, but even before Trump got into politics, I could see right through him. He was a con man, like literally forever. Back in the '80s and early '90s, and I didn't understand why. I thought it was easy to see through him. That's what I always thought. Because it was like when he had that game show, whatever that show used to have, and
Apprentice.
Apprentice, yeah. When he did that, I just thought he was weird on there. I just like, how can this guy? He does this thing to make himself look like this really big, smart boss dude or whatever.
It's not hard, Russ. It's not hard. All you got to do is tell people that are losing their jobs because of automation. You tell them it's Mexicans, it's blacks, it's all these invaders coming to our country. They're taking over our culture. Look at the Super Bowl. They got a Puerto Rican at the Super Bowl. You don't want that happening in your country. They're going to move into your neighborhood. They're going to cause all this crime. That's all you got to do. And the person that says that is going to have a willing audience. Like, yeah, I am losing my country. Because I think some white people are feeling outnumbered. They're feeling like their culture is being drowned out because we are platforming all the diversity in America, and they hate that. And the Democratic Party is the political party of diversity. And if you hate that, if you want to go back to when there was no competition from black people and brown people and everybody spoke English, Trump is your man. Not only is he your man, he's going to make that stuff happen. He's going to hurt people. He's going to punish people in ways that individual people who are racist and bigoted can't. He's going to use policy. He's going to use executive orders. And people will excuse his bad behaviors, his immorality, his infidelity, and even his pedophilia. Because if you kick out the blacks and kick out the Mexicans and make America great again, they will give him a tremendous amount of leeway. But I appreciate your call, Russ. I gotta go. Why economically marginalized and socially isolated men are easily radicalized. Number one, economic marginalization produces psychologically vulnerable people. Large-scale studies show that economic insecurity, job instability, and downward mobility strongly increase support for extremist, authoritarian, and nationalist ideologies, especially among men. Men who struggle to achieve traditional markers of success, stable jobs, income, independence, experience. 1, status loss. 2, identity threat. 3, chronic stress. 4, shame and humiliation. 5, anger and resentment. These emotions dramatically increase susceptibility to radical narratives that offer A, blame targets, B, identity restoration, and C, moral justification for their hostility. Young men are trying to find their way in the world. That's why we're telling young men to get into the trades. There's no jobs, no factory jobs, no manufacturing jobs. So what did Donald Trump do? Further lie to those vulnerable people. We're going to bring back factory jobs. He ain't bringing back nothing. Ain't brought back a damn factory since. What they make iPhones in California now? Nope. Economically vulnerable people, men in particular, because a man gets a lot of his value and his worth from his status by what he does for a living. And if we are losing jobs, then women don't want us. And if a man is unwanted by a woman, he will begin to hate and resent them. That's why supporting the abortion ban, a whole bunch of men support that, especially the incels. These are men, because earlier I said 80% of women that have ever walked the earth have reproduced, but only 40% of men have. Meaning 60% of men that have lived have never fathered a child and have probably never had the company of women, not intimately. And if you feel left out, if you see all these other men getting laid, partying with women, you begin to resent all of them. A lot of these incels are mass shooters. They're so angry at the world because they're left alone and they're isolated and women don't want them. They have no job, no money, no status. These are very dangerous men. Then Donald Trump comes along and says, I'll make your life better. We'll punish the women. We'll get all the Mexicans out of here. We're going to make America great again for you. And a lot of these men, they have no hope. And Donald Trump is a breath of fresh air. And because he has talked to this cohort of men unlike anybody else has, they will excuse Trump's bad behavior because he's at least addressing them. He's at least talking to them, making them feel seen and heard. That is why I think that there is so much motivation to stick with Donald Trump, because he's addressing this cohort in the manosphere that otherwise are throwaway men. They're unemployed. They don't have any prospects. They've never had a girlfriend, never been on a date before, don't even know how to talk to women. These are lonely, isolated men, and they are dangerous. We got to figure out a way now. And also, it's reflected in the fact that the birth rate in America is going down. They're literally not getting laid. You want to soften a man up? I'm serious. Give him a little bit. Give him a little sample. He'll change his whole demeanor. He will want to love and protect women. There's a softness that men get from women, I think, takes the edge off of us. You see what I mean? But if you keep a man from that, but you flaunt it in his face, he sees all this stuff online, all these beautiful women, these pretty women all over Instagram, and he can't get not nan one of them. He can't get a single one of them to even respond to his inbox messages. And after a while, he gets super angry, doesn't he? And his anger will manifest itself in a whole bunch of different ways, including wanting to stick to an authoritarian that sees him and makes him feel human. Oh, boy, Al, hold on now. I know this is one of them topics where you like to go in, so let me just say this, Al, before I put you on the line now. I'm going to take a commercial break because I know you got a lot to say about this, Al, so just don't get me canceled. Thank you. I'll take a break, come back. Talk to Al. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. Hi, this is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Register to bowl with us on March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. Registration is now open. Go to WTMJCares.com to sign up. Act quickly, teams will fill up fast. It's WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies to help the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We need to optimize the PID controller for smoother robotic movements.
Our data analysis shows a significant correlation between the variables in both control groups.
The test shows you've experienced an acute myocardial infarction.
As you'll see on the syllabus, this course will largely focus on the Mesozoic era.
Get your child the access every child deserves. Enroll your K through 8th grade child by February 28 at Milwaukee College Prep, mkeprep.com/enroll.
Gruber Law Offices, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Call us today if you've been injured. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth Community Spotlight today at 3:57 p.m. We will be speaking with Deshaun Ewing from the Community Advocates Public Policy Institute. He'll share how the Public Policy Institute addresses the root causes of poverty through policy advocacy and community collaboration on economic and public health issues. Again, that is the Community Spotlight today with Community Advocates Public Policy Institute at 3:57 in the p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And that's Central Standard Time for all of you listening in Greenland. If you're in Milwaukee, you can put us on the radio too, 101.7 FM. Somebody was just asking, like, oh, Sherwin, I don't always have access to YouTube in my car. Well, you have a radio in your car. You can download something. Pod app, podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. We're everywhere. You get your podcasts, and even places you don't get your podcasts. Clearly, I'm stalling because I'm afraid of this call that's on line 1. What y'all have for breakfast today? You guys eat breakfast? I got 3 chicken wings left over from last night. I'm going to go home, probably eat those. So I hope it's enough. They're big wings, though. So I hope I get full off of those. Hey, Al. Hey, man.
Hey, what's up? What it do? But you know what? Let's get right down into it. See, the reason why you Trump supporters, and I'm speaking to you men, y'all have took the free will to be lazy. So now you're mad at the world. See, what you have to do is find your niche. Every man is a commodity, but you have been beaten down so much, and you have looked for somebody to build you up. Build your goddamn self up. Maybe first take the first step. Get in that gym. Get that body nice and tight and sexy. Matter of fact, learn how to love your body. Welcome your flesh. I don't care if you're a 32-inch waist and you're shaped like Claude Van Damme or you're Peter built. You're built like a semi-truck, nothing but body. But you have not learned how to love yourself. And then if you don't got no money, learn how to get some money. People speak against the trades, and that's perfectly fine. My father was in the trade for many years, and when that degree wouldn't hire him because of racism, them trades kept that money coming in like crack and fentanyl. You have to learn how to be the resource mentally and physically. But if you think a woman gonna come to you just based off you thinking normal, you will never get a nut. You will never get a woman who want you to be her confidant, her knight in her shiny armor. First, you got to learn how to love yourself, and then you got to love that body. You got to learn some finesse. I don't care if you're big, overweight, with type 333 diabetes. Smell good. Look good. Get confidence in your walk. Tell them I got something to make you smile and something to make you go wow. Learn how to cook. But y'all sitting up here, I'm going to look up to Trump. You'll never get it. But I will say this to you men that's out here that's paying for that cooter. Don't start something and then pull back, because now you're going against the terms and conditions. All right? Whatever you start, keep it up. But to you men that's having problems with women, you have to think outside the box. Stop thinking normal. Y'all always think normal. I'm going to go show her I'm a good person. Damn it, you got to be a good person to yourself first before you be a good person to anybody. And then y'all let people walk over you. You worried about people hurting your feelings, F they feelings. What Grandma always said, I better hurt yours before you hurt mine. But y'all will figure that out. Stop using the free will to be lazy and get off your goddamn ass and make it happen. Or you'll never have nothing. But y'all want to listen to that white man, y'all gonna still be right there, probably wearing a diaper, wearing a diaper, coming down with infections, and putting that woman pH balance off. And get up on your hygiene. And if you got a truck, make sure that truck look good. And if you got a car, make sure the car look good. But y'all got all the talent. But you're using the free will to be lazy. So why should anybody give a F? If you don't give a F about yourself, nobody gonna give a F about you. Have a good day, because I'm getting mine. I don't have those problems. Have a good day.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Injured at work, unable to work due to health problems, or denied veteran benefits you're entitled to? Last year, Tayback Law returned over $73 million in wrongfully denied VA and Social Security benefits to people in our communities. Tayback Law celebrates Black History Month by bringing its message to 101.7 The Truth. The team is thrilled to see Milwaukee achieve this exciting new outlet for speaking truth to power. And Tayback Law is always ready to fight for you. Call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com. A penny saved earns you a whole new look. Nick Avani's penny sale is on now. Buy one item at the regular price and get a second item for just 1 penny. Suits, shirts, and more for mere pocket change. In honor of Black History Month, Nick Avani's is offering this incredible deal throughout February. So don't miss your chance to step out sharp for 1 measly penny. Visit Nick Avani's on the 2nd floor of Mayfair Mall before February ends. Nick Avani's penny sale. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards, happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This award show will honor the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. We're rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Buy your tickets now by visiting 1017thetruthAwards.com. Tickets are just $20, which includes free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Bond. He joins us from Atlanta to discuss the charges, and we welcome you, James Brown. How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America. There's nothing wrong.
And nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong at all. You're not in any difficulty, but you're out on bond.
No, I'm not.
Have all the charges been dropped?
Yeah, I'm out on love.
Well, are you out on love or out of love? Which is it?
Out on love. Alone tonight you'll find me.
Now, James, this isn't the first time you and your wife have had a problem. Are the two of you going to be able to work this out?
Let's talk about some music.
You want to talk about music, and you don't want to talk about what happened?
No, it's all over.
Well, let's talk about your tour. When are you leaving?
We're leaving tomorrow.
And where are you going?
Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo.
Well, your fans will have read all about this, James. Aren't you concerned about that?
No, Dankeschön. I'm concerned because there's nothing wrong.
And what are you going to say to your fans when they ask you some questions about it?
I'm going to say I feel good. Papa's got a brand new bag. It's a man's world.
Well, that's the second time we've heard that in 2 days. That's very
He's
now.
getting
Don't
up
leave
and
us, James.
gyrating
You
his
stay
hips.
right there. We have more that we have to talk about. Well, tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing on this tour.
What'd you say?
What are you going to be doing on this tour?
I'm going to be doing. Papa's got a brand new bag. Living in America. Sex machine. Get up off of that thing. I feel good.
Damn.
Now, I understand that you have already... James, I have to ask you one serious question here. I understand you already have started divorce proceedings. Does that mean that you're now eligible?
No. Yes, I'm eligible. I'm singing.
Ready to mingle.
You want to mingle?
Yeah.
Now, the women love you when you get out there. Why do you think that is?
What'd you say?
The women love you when you get out there.
Why is that,
ladies?
Well, I'm asking you.
Oh, this is so good.
Because
Why
I
do you
look
think
good.
that is? You
I
look
smell good. I feel good.
And you sing good.
And make
love good.
Oh. Well, there we are. We don't have to ask anybody else. We got that from the source. There you are. Now
That is probably the best James Brown high on cocaine interview you will ever see. And I played that because Al made mention to some of the things that James Brown said. Smell good, look good, feel good. All right, what is not good is these lonely men who are driven to their loyalty for Donald Trump. Low dating success intensifies radicalization risk. Dating failure equals identity crisis equals ideological recruitment. Multiple studies show that men with poor dating prospects are significantly more vulnerable to extremist recruitment. I have also been just fascinated by men that just become blindly loyal to other men. It's typically because they have some incredible talent. Maybe it's like a football player or a baseball player that a man may look up to, but there's limits to that loyalty. Or if somebody goes into the military and they got to be loyal to that drill instructor, that drill sergeant or master sergeant, they got to be loyal to command. But I'd like to think that that's not loyalty to a man. That's loyalty to the institution. That's loyalty to their fellow soldiers. And that's loyalty and fidelity to the United States and our Constitution and our laws. But I just never understood how men could be so blindly loyal to another man that they would follow that man to the ends of the earth. But then when you find out that that man is a bad person, that they're a criminal, they're immoral, that they don't represent good values and good ethics, why do we still do that? I've been so baffled by loyalty because my loyalty has been firm. It is in my community. It is in the best for us. My loyalty is in my optimism for the future. I can't condense all that to one man. I would feel like, this is me personally, I'm not saying anything negative about y'all, but if I reduce my loyalty to just a single man that's not my father, I would feel like less of a man. And I also know that how would that be attractive to a woman? There used to be a point in time, and I don't know what happened to that point in time, where most of what we did as men was for women. To get one, to attract one, to date one, dare I say even to bed one. Now that's not even in the calculus anymore. And you know what I attribute it to? Because I'm old and I can reflect back on things. People don't dance anymore. Now, I don't go out to places very often where there is dancing, but when I do go to those places, it's everybody in their section sitting down or their back is against the wall and they got their phones out and they're posting on Instagram. It's like you're out here and you're spending a lot of money to be out in public, to be in the real world, to be in real life where you can actually interact with somebody instead of jumping in somebody's inbox, and they just don't do it. You know what else I think it is? I think people are afraid of being recorded. Because we would like go up to women and try to dance with them, and if they rejected us, like it's really super embarrassing, but it wouldn't get you down because if this woman said no or if she walked away from you, another woman would. Like the embarrassment of having that be recorded and somebody putting it on Instagram or putting it on TikTok, I think that has kept people from taking the risk of approaching folks of the opposite sex. Now, it does still happen, but the reason why we used to go out is so we could have those up close and personal interactions with people because we didn't have access to folks on the internet. We didn't. It didn't exist. So if you wanted attention from somebody or affection from somebody, you had to go be about it now. And the kind of resilience that it builds, because I remember going to the mall as even a teenager, and we see a group of girls. Hey, man, I'm going up to that girl. Your boys would hype you up, you know what I mean? I'm finna go talk to her. I'm about to go get her number. And she would shoot you down in front of God and everybody. But guess what? Your boys may laugh at you for a second, but we still admired and encouraged you to do it again. But there's a kind of resilience and a kind of confidence that you build, right? Getting rejected a whole bunch, you realize it doesn't kill you. I mean, it might sting a little bit, but feeling those stings of rejection, I think, prepares you for the stings of rejection you may get in other aspects of your life. So now, if somebody who was hardened by that kind of rejection doesn't get the job or doesn't get the promotion, yeah, they might be sad for a little bit, but they built up a kind of resilience. Now, you shoot one of these young boys down. Now, dude ain't never going to leave the house. That girl embarrassed him, shot him down. He asked for the phone number. He asked for the Instagram. He didn't get it. Like, no, I'm never going out again. We had a kind of resilience that I don't think exists right now. And then also just the impact of social media, I think, has really done a number to people. There's some people that on social media 8 hours a day, they're trying to reform TikTok because it doesn't stop. Now, unless you set limits on your TikTok, it'll say, hey, you've been scrolling for 30 minutes. It'll warn you. But if you have that feature turned off, it literally does not stop. And the way that just impacts our dopamine, I saw this teacher was giving like this little synopsis, like a little soliloquy on why teaching kids nowadays is so hard. She was like, they don't care. She's like, they just don't care. She's like, I'm looking at this whole classroom. All their eyes are glazed over. They're not listening to me. They don't care what's going on. And the teacher said, well, there's no consequences. Like they don't fear getting in trouble because they literally don't care. And it hit me because one of the things that was central to our academic environments growing up is you cared what your teacher said. You cared what your teacher thought. You cared how your mama and your daddy would react if they got that phone call from the teacher. I remember you come back from recess. Remember you come back from recess and you be all rambunctious and you're still running around because you got that recess energy? Our teachers would scream, shut up at the top of their lungs, and it was like we got frozen in ice. It was sitting. Y'all remember that when shut up! And you would just feel a chill, and we sat our little asses down. You do that now in a classroom, those kids might attack you. Something is going on. I got to prevent more people from getting radicalized. Low dating success intensifies radicalization risk. Dating failure, identity crisis, ideological recruitment. Multiple studies show that young men with poor dating prospects are significantly more vulnerable to extremist recruitment. A massive analysis of 4 billion tweets across the United States found that incel-related radical communities emerge most strongly in regions where men face high income inequality, male-biased gender ratios, few available partners, lower economic mobility. And so incels they're like a cohort, a phenomenon, if you will. And I feel real bad for them. And I don't know how they got that way. An incel is a man or maybe a boy that is involuntarily celibate. He wants a woman. He wants a girlfriend. He wants to date. He wants to be intimate, but he can't. He either doesn't have access, he doesn't know how, or he doesn't have the confidence. And that wears on a man. If you're a heterosexual, cisgender man, women make the world go round. And here I am, a married man at 50. I thought it would go away. I thought you would reach an age where you're just like, women ain't no big deal. They're a very big deal. Still. Maybe even more. Because they're everywhere. Damn it. Fellas, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't live my life for them, but there's some decisions that I make, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm going to wear cologne tonight. I'm not necessarily wearing cologne for myself. You know what the best feeling in the world is? I'm going to tell you what it is. And there's many good feelings in the world, other than the physical feeling. Ain't nothing like that. Amen, Zach. When the woman comes up to you and just, she'll utter like, oh, you smell good. You halfway there. Ain't nothing like that. Oh, I even have my set-aside colognes. You know what I mean? Like, if I put them on, damage getting done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, buddy. Oh, my God. Oh. What, girl? Because you already know. You already know what she going to say. Girl, what? What you talking about? You know. No, I don't. Tell me. Tell me in my ear. Yeah. You smell good. I do. And then you got to say something coy like, girl, that ain't even no cologne. That's just how I smell naturally. You get that little giggle, you're finished. Sorry, lady. The best feeling in the world, just having that little playful interaction. And maybe even nothing else comes from that. Maybe it's just a woman that gives you a compliment. But guess what? For the rest of the night, you riding on cloud 9. Ain't nothing getting you down. You understand it? Nothing. Now, as a married man, I should be healed of this affliction, but I can't. Ladies, do you have any idea the stuff that we do for you? That's why I cannot figure out how there are some men that are more loyal to another man. I'm more loyal to the possibility of a woman than I would be loyal to another man. Just the slight chance that a woman may enter my space and tell me I look good, tell me I smell good. Like, I'm more loyal to that than some dude who was on Epstein Island that's detaining people while the country is in a foreclosure crisis and shooting American citizens in Minneapolis. It's just, I'm a long way away from that, and I'm glad, because I don't want anything that this man does, the 47th president does, to look and sound appealing to me. Because once I start thinking that Trump is appealing to me, I got to do an examination on myself. A major 2025 cross-national study found that 1 in 4 men report poor mating performance. 13% identify as involuntarily single. That's sad. If you want a girlfriend and can't get one, at the same time, women will complain like, oh, there's no men out here. How can we connect y'all with these 13%, or maybe these 13% don't know how to get a woman, how to attract one, how to talk to one. Chronic sexual rejection strongly predicts anger, grievance narratives, misogyny, and radical beliefs. Another large 2024 clinical study showed that low mate value, social rejection, bullying, and humiliation strongly predict ideological extremism and violent endorsement. I mean, maybe these boys was bullied. Stop bullying these boys. For you to create more Trump supporters. All right, take a break, come back. Continue analyzing why we have a masculinity crisis and why these men are so easily radicalized, especially those that are involuntarily celibate. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, y'all, it's 1017 The Truth's Rhea Riley for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Buying a house is more than just the purchase. It's building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always know they belong. It's about planting roots and knowing your neighbors and waving from the porch and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is possible for you, Axe Housing is here to help. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan and a budget and move you step by step toward owning your own place. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than what they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home. Let's see what we got going on. What y'all talking about in the YouTube chat? Yeah, there's a dramatic difference. I think the internet has, while it's done wonders, it has provided information to us. It has also acted in a way that has separated us, and where people are having virtual and digital relationships, which is great for some people, right? That's a way they can connect, talk to somebody. I got a friend in California, been talking to him for 15 years, never met him. That's their best friend. They FaceTime with them, and they Zoom call with them, and they Teams meeting with them, and that's their friend now, but it ain't the same. It's not the same. That's actually common. There are people that have been friends online for many, many years and they've never met. It isn't the same. They're talking, says Sherwin said men should not be dancing. It's not manly. No, y'all love misinterpreting what your boy said. I said a group of men going out saying, hey, y'all, what y'all want to do tonight? Y'all want to go dance? If I'm going dancing, I'm going with a woman. I'm taking a woman dancing. I'm not going with a bunch of dudes going dancing. When I was a teenager, yes. Not now. I'm 50. I ain't going to call up a bunch of 50-year-old dudes and go dance. Our hips hurt. Our knees hurt. We ain't doing that. But if the woman that we are with wants to go dancing, that's when we go dance. I'm saying I just ain't going to go to a dance club by myself and just be out there dancing. No, I'll go dance with a woman. In years past, when we had clubs where people actually dance, and the problem is, don't nobody dance. And all the girls do is twerk. And at this point, I'm be honest with you, it's disgusting. It is gross. It's not enticing. It's not sexy. It's low class and it's low rent. It's gross. Like, what are y'all even doing? And that's all you do? Shake your butt? Come on now. Where the rhythm at? Can you keep the beat? Do a two-step. Nobody want to see that mess. That's me getting old. See that. Twerking was cool for the first, 15 years. Time out for that. Or pick another part of the body to shake. There's many things that can jiggle now. Good God almighty. Marquina Brown says, I love a man who smells good. I know y'all do. I know that. Cole says, man, slow dancing was everything. You had 2 songs worth of time to whisper all the game you could muster in her ear. There was something about the slow dance. Because remember, they would play slow dance music at the club. Sometimes they still do. And you start looking around. Or here's if you're lucky. If you're already dancing with somebody and then boom, the DJ hits you with that slow song. Bam. Now it just became very intimate. And if the slow dance goes right, you immediately have to get off the dance floor, fellas, and go sit down. Because you can't. Because you're at full attention. You know what I mean? You gotta go sit down. You know what I'm saying?
Boing, boing, boing.
You know what I mean? I remember I was at a high school dance. I was dancing with Jessica Fry. I think we were dancing to a song by Teddy Riley and Guy. And then the song was over. I was like, uh-oh. How am I going to make it to the bleachers without nobody seeing what Jessica Fry? Okay. Marquina Brown is asking somebody what school they went to. You ain't asking me because everybody know what school I went to. Reggie says, swimming in women, outnumbered and surrounded. He said, yay. Swimming in women with their own condominiums. 5+5 who drive millenniums. It's all about the Benjamins. What? So glad I invested in a variety of body fragrances. Can't walk around smelling like diesel fuel and sawdust all the time. Make bath time great again. She'll thank you and welcome you for it. I think both genders appreciate a person that smells good. Sometimes women can smell so good, it's like getting high. And I don't know if it's a combination of their perfume or their pheromones, but it's just, you know what I'm talking about, Zach? You smell them, it's like, oh, God, bless America.
Boing, boing, boing.
Ain't nothing like it, man. Well, that's why our nose it's on our head. It's real close to our brain because our sense of smell. Like, I can tell you, I haven't worn Drakkar in 30 years, maybe more. I can tell you exactly what it smells like. Drakkar is what the 90s smells like. If you ever want to know what a decade smells like, Drakkar Noir or Cool Water or Jupe. Remember Jupe? It was purple. Jupe smelled like the 90s. The 80s, for some reason, smell like chocolate chip cookies. I don't know why. Because you go to the mall. Because we hung out at the mall. And they have like the original cookie factory. Now you can't really get cookies in the mall no more. Now you can get a damn Cinnabon. Or you can get pretzels. But you used to have cookies. And the mall would smell like cookies. You get a bag of them little mini chocolate chip cookies. We were big bags in the 80s. Because then nobody cared about sugar and calories. We just ate food. It's a beautiful time. But it's crazy because people were thinner in the 80s. We didn't really start seeing big backs until like the 90s and the 2000s. It's really more in the 2000s is this. All that high fructose corn syrup, I think, make everybody back get big. Now everybody's on the Ozempic. My doctor won't give me Ozempic. He was like, no, Sherwin, I'm not going to give it to you. I said, give me the damn Ozempic, dude. I ain't playing with you. Give it to me. Prescribe it to me. He's like, I'm not going to do it. You're not fat enough. You don't have type 3, 4, 5, and 12 diabetes. No, just exercise and eat less. I'm not going to give you no damn Ozempic. I'm going back for my physical next month. I'm going to ask him again. I'm like, doctor, my back is getting bigger. Everybody's on it. You can get it off the street. That's crazy, right? Fat drugs. I was talking to a dude last night. He wasn't even overweight. He was like, oh, I was 208, now I'm 197. I'm on Ozempic for 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, you're not even, his stomach was flat. He wasn't even overweight. But he said it makes you feel real super bloated. Like you don't want to eat because it feels like you ate a big old meal. I don't want that. I want to be able to eat, and I don't want to feel uncomfortable and bloated to where you don't want to eat. I think I want to continue this topic tomorrow because there's a few other details I want to share about how all of these men are socially isolated and disconnected from women, and then begin to resent women, and then we have this whole crisis going on. Thank you for listening. Truth to Power is up next.
This Black History Moment is sponsored by Educators Credit Union and Tayback Law.
Fred Hampton was born on August 30th, 1948, and assassinated on December 4th, 1969. We've all heard the fiery speeches. We've all heard the stories of his charismatic leadership as the chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. But Minister Fred Hampton, or Black Moses as he was dubbed, was much more than that. Fred Hampton believed that the only way to create lasting change in this country was for the poor and underprivileged to join forces. With this in mind, in April of 1969, Fred Hampton announced the creation of the Rainbow Coalition, a coalition that would be used to fight police brutality amongst the